SWAC rivals Southern University and Jackson State whenever they meet. Oh man, you know it's about to be some trash talking going down. Passionate fan bases, football prominence, and dynamic bands. These are two schools that know how to deliver on excitement. Oh yeah, it's about to get loud, folks. The sonic boom of the South and the human jukebox. Conference opener for the Tigers and Jaguars from the boot. Let's get it. Coming straight at you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home of the Southern University Jaguars, ahead of their big matchup, the SWAC conference opener between the HBCU national champion Jackson State Tigers. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green here with you. Big energy here in Baton Rouge, right? You know that this is an important game. Why, Jay? Because they're the SWAC West preseason favorites going up against the East Division favorites out of Jackson State.
I mean, you got to love this. This is good old-fashioned football. You know why? Because Southern University is home to the #1 HBCU tailgate in the country. Nobody tailgate better than Southern University.
They agree.
However, not so fast, because Jackson State is the #1 HBCU football team in the country. They're going to need everybody involved and mix up the spices in the jambalaya and put a roux to slow down Jackson State.
When you look at this matchup, what jumps off the page?
Well, I like the fact that Jackson State is who they are. They're going to establish, control the line of scrimmage, and run the football. They play just like their coach, T.C. Taylor. They play them hard-nosed. They don't beat themselves. There's a reason why they're #1.
They're going to need to feed off the crowd that you hear behind us at this tailgate, taking it into A.W. Mumford Stadium. How do they best the Tigers?
Well, they need to get the same momentum and energy that these fans have. Southern University has not played 4 quarters of football all season long. They play great for one half here, great for one half there. They've got the talent, but they have not put it all together. And this is the most anticipated game in the young coaching career of head coach Terrence Graves. He has to have this one.
And for Terrence Graves, who is leading the charge for these Southern Jaguars in his second season, the idea is take down T.C. Taylor and the Tigers in his third year, coming off that SWAC championship season, going 8-0 and being the representatives and the last team standing in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And a good look at Terrence Graves, the Norfolk, Virginia native, who was called Southern his home for a long time. As Southern won the toss, they defer, so Jackson State will receive it first on the return here, and a short kick, and Jackson State will have good starting field position depending the outcome of the penalty marker near the 30-yard line.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 9, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Jackson State.
Jacobian Morgan, who's going to come onto the field, coming off a SWAC Offensive Player of the Year season. He was also the offensive MVP in the Cricket Celebration Bowl and helping to lead the Tigers to their 5th HBCU National Championship as they dominated South Carolina State in Mercedes-Benz Stadium last December.
And you see the numbers on the season, but what you don't see about Morgan, he started off being just a game manager. Now he's become an offensive weapon for this Jackson State offense.
I'll tell you, the biggest weapon that we have seen from the Tigers so far this season is their rushing attack. Travis Terrell on the carry there, the sophomore out of ATL, who we saw move around quite a bit. He's also an outstanding return specialist as well.
I look for him to get a lot of carries in this game. He really hasn't been unleashed thus far, but now we're starting conference play. They're going to need him to make some big plays.
Well, quickly out of the hands into the receivers for the Tigers, and Herman Brister III coming up to make the tackle, and already a quick third down. Loss of 2 on the play, and that's what Henry Miller is going to need to see from his defense, is the fact that they've got to play inspired tonight.
They've got to play above their head. You know, you're trying to pull off the upset here at home, use the momentum from the crowd, and play sound, fundamental defense. And more importantly, tackling is going to be the key. This team doesn't tackle that well. They need to have an A-plus performance in the tackling game.
2-1 on the season is Jackson State, coming off their win a couple of weeks ago against D2 Tuskegee, shutting out the Golden Tigers here on 3rd and 9. Morgan has time, looks, surveys the field, and the pass incomplete to Nate Rimbert. And a quick 3 and out, and that's a good sign early on for Jaguar Nation.
Great job getting off the field, the defense getting off the field, and also another good sign, Kelby Givens, their All-American defensive lineman for Southern University, able to pressure Morgan and force him out of the pocket.
So Donovan Warren set to punt it away, awaiting it as he gets it off is Darren Morris. Picks it up off the bounce and steps out quickly near the 45-yard line. Well, we have seen a number of different quarterbacks throughout this HBCU football season. Southern's story is not much different. Jalen Woods, Cameron McCoy, but today it's Aston Strother, the junior out of Memphis, Tennessee, who gets the start coming off a good performance in that loss to Fresno State.
And really like what the coaches had to say about him. Probably not the starter because he didn't show up here in Baton Rouge until 8 days before school started. Now he knows enough of the offense, and they think he can be special.
He came in after Cam McCoy started that game. You see his numbers. They were able to move the ball somewhat effectively and quickly out. They're trying to get him in rhythm, and the pass incomplete to Trey Holly as he was popped immediately by Cam Salas.
I like that. If I'm Jackson State and I'm the defensive coordinator, Torenzo Quinn, new quarterback coming in, new to the campus, we don't know how much of the offense he knows. Well, let's see if he knows his protection as they bring blitz on the very first play. And until the young quarterback learns that he can recognize the blitz, I anticipate you will see more blitzes to follow shortly.
You see stacked receivers to the bottom of your screen on the near side as he sends Gerard Hicks into the slot. Strother looking to his left, then his right. Happy feet and just throws it well out of bounds. And so now that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for Terrence Graves. He made it clear this week in terms of what this team needed to do. Execute. He said mindset, attitude, and execution is going to be critical if they're going to walk out of here with a W.
You know, as we mentioned in the open, they play good football in spurts. He really likes his team, says they can compete with anybody. They just have not gotten the victories to show for it in the win-loss column.
3rd down is an area where the Jaguars have struggled this season, converting on about 38% of them so far. And here, 5 left on the play clock, gets it off. Strother looking, there's the pressure up front. He avoids it, gets it out of his hand into Trey Holly. But the tackle made by Reed Pulliam, the senior, who has been an excellent leader in that linebacking core, and 4th down. So quick 3 and outs on both sides.
Yeah, the defense trying to create confusion and havoc, and you see this looks like Strother doesn't know what he's looking at right now. He's trying to figure out where they're blitzing, where they're coming from. Had a pretty decent pocket there, considering they were bringing the blitz. Got a little bit of happy feet. They have to settle him down and go through your progressions, young man.
And offsides are the Jaguars. They still get, or rather the Tigers, as they get the punt away. And it's going to be a 5-yard penalty as Kenzavius Lundy.
Ooh, now Terrence Graves, what you got? They're going to be offsides. It's going to be 4th and 1. Do you go for it on 4th and 1? That was a great punt. You got him pinned inside the 10-yard line. Depending on how you feel, 4th and 1, it's conference play. You take the penalty and you go for it. This is what Jay Walker does in this situation.
Well, I was going to say, so early in the game,
Yep.
Do you take that risk? Do you take that gamble? Now, we do know that Austin Strother, who comes in.
Offside defense, number 25. Player lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
This is big, so he's letting you know he accepted the penalty, so that means he's going for it, Jeff.
But Austin Strother, again, coming in after Cam McCoy got the start last week. New duties given on the play calling side to co-offensive coordinator as Fred McNair was elevated just a couple of weeks ago. 4th and 1, and big decision here as the Jaguars in Tiger territory.
Crowd in the line of scrimmage, man-to-man coverage across. Quarterback's in shotgun. I would put him underneath the center, but they've got a big running back, number 7, Mike Franklin, in the backfield, you just want him to run downhill.
Moves to his left, 6'2", 225-pound senior running back. They hand it off to Franklin. He goes up, and it's going to be really close, depending on the spot. As Franklin ran into a number of crowded bodies around the space, and they're giving it to him. Boy, that was a gamble indeed, and a first down.
That was a favorable spot. That was a favorable spot.
But Jay, this also shows us the mindset of Terrence Graves. He wants to come out and make a statement in this conference opener against one of the big rivals in Jackson State.
They need this victory. I mean, people are talking in town. When they start talking around here in Baton Rouge, a lot of times it's not good. And they're starting to make that talk. They believe this is a really good football team that has underachieved and underperformed. So they're going to come out there and lay it all on the line. He needs this one, no doubt about it.
Like Franklin fighting for yards, 4 yards ahead, and you make the comparison from last year to this year through the first 4 games. Obviously, they had more of an aerial attack last season, even with a dozen touchdowns on both sides. The record 2-2 compared to 1-3 this year, but they had slow starts last year, but came on strong toward the back half of the season in conference play when it really mattered. The shift to the left side to Fuller, the tight end, number 5. Watch out for him as Strother, one-on-one coverage, and just overthrows his man. And Damian Knighton, we'll see if that was the receiver there. As
from the slot, that's a little tight end slot play they like to throw in today's college football landscape, but just an inaccurate throw. Good job getting behind the defensive back, but a more accurate throw could have been a big play for the Jaguars.
Correction there, that was David Prince who was the intended target. Now 3rd and 6. They weren't able to convert last time, but went for it on 4th down to keep this drive going. What's happening here, Jay?
Give me a simple curl flat combination. Your quarterback's not necessarily seeing things well. We saw the inaccurate throw. Go to timeout, take a break, talk about it, find out your best play you feel, and we'll see what he's got for us on the other side. Terrence Graves and the Jaguars. Big play coming up.
Scoreless ball game back here in Baton Rouge. 3rd down coming up, and these two teams know each other, very familiar with each other. 72nd meeting all time between the two. Southern has that slight edge over Jackson State, but they have won, the Tigers, the last 6 matchups between the two. Here on 3rd and 6, what's the call out of the huddle?
Curl flat. Man-to-man coverage, you want to find a crossing route. You've got man coverage up top, but down low, curl flat combination with the wide receiver in your slot. But you can't do that. How does that happen?
Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, that's got to be frustrating if you're Terrence Graves, because you come out of the huddle and then you make a mental miscue. And that's part of the execution that he talked about. Here it is. We need to execute here on 3rd and 6. And now pushing back 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's a big pickup. And like you said, he talked about execution. The team doesn't execute, but that's not Terrence Graves' fault. That's Dupree Fuller's fault, the tight end, for jumping, but it won't show up in the stat sheet.
So now 3rd and 11 from the Tiger 43-yard line. Strother steps up and he's brought down. Boy, that pocket collapse there as Kazarius Bowie was able to record the sack.
And I just get the feeling that Strother's not looking downfield. Take a look at this pocket. Settle. Take one step and keep downfield. He's looking to escape. You can't run for 10, 11 yards. Realistically, that's not how you go into as a quarterback unless it just opens wide open for you. But that case there did not give time in the pocket to let the receivers get open downfield. He's got to calm down.
Well, this Jackson State defense has been so difficult over the last few years, as that one was bobbled and fumbled, let go, and Southern comes up with it. They're going to say he was down at the 10-yard line, so we're going to wait the call here. Smith, who could not handle so let's find out the call after Mike Smith III.
By the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. First down, Southern.
Make some noise, Jaguar fans.
So let's take a look. Just a poor job of even fielding that ball. Great job by the coverage team of Southern. Just standing at attention, giving him room.
And then Jermaine Minor Jr. comes up with it. So that's going to set up first and goal for Southern from Jackson State's 10-yard line.
Run the ball. Establish a running game right now. Quarterback needs to settle down. Running game can help him.
Well, Franklin was waiting, and the pull as Franklin had nowhere to go. John Brown Jr., Ja'Cory Hargan, and company came in, loss of 1.
I mean, that's how you crowd the line of scrimmage. And also, they brought number 15, Cam Salas, down from his free safety position. That's how much they were willing to sell out to stop the run. But if you're Southern University, you still have to run it. You have to establish you can run the football.
In red zone trips this season for Southern, they're 6 of 8. A couple of field goals, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and 1 through the air.
2 safety high look, you have to be able to run the football.
They try to hand it off again, trying to get to the edge, and a good closing speed. That's Ashton Taylor.
You know, you can put a play on paper and want to execute, say you block this guy, you block this guy, but that's that execution that Coach Graves is talking about. They're getting beat individually, not executing, so one person is blowing up a whole play. And they're just not playing as a unit.
And so they want to take advantage of this gift. First and goal from the 10-yard line. And jump on the board first against the number 17 team in all of FCS.
More movement. Wow.
False start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Jay, we hear coaches oftentimes talk about sins, self-inflicted negatives, and they're another example of that for Terrence Graves and his team.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold the offense accountable. You know, you got a new play caller. You got Fred McNair. So Mark Frederick is now still on staff, but he's no longer the play caller. Fred McNair is the new OC calling the plays. But these plays right here, guys jumping off sides, guys moving, as a player, when do you have some pride about your game and step up and assume accountability?
So now third and goal from the 16. Strother again on the run. Lets it go, and it's dropped. And another flag flies out. And it was a late hit as Strother was going down. Or was he past the line of scrimmage?
Illegal forward pass, offense, number 15. Player was past the neutral zone when he released the pass. 5-yard penalty, loss of down, fourth down.
Now, take a look at this, Tiff. I want you to take a look at this guy right here and tell me how wide open is he when this play starts. If you're looking, that's open.
Bam.
That's open. That's open. That's open. I don't know if Strother's seeing the game well right now. You know, you can kind of tell he's not seeing things on the field because you can't miss that look right there.
And you see Fred McNair in his ear, the former Alcorn State head coach who has been deemed the offensive play caller and elevated to co-offensive coordinator. And now a 37-yard field goal attempt for Nathan Zimmer, and Zimmer gets it up and through, and so the Jaguars walk away with 3 points after the muff punt from Jackson State. It's Southern on the board, 3-0. These two teams met a couple of times last year, including the the SWAC championship game, and T said was on the board for Southern, and then it was all Jackson State after that. Zy McDonald rushing for the touchdown, and talk about the ground game and how elusive it's been, or how elusive the Tigers have been on the ground. They were dominant and bringing home the SWAC championship, third time in the last 4 seasons, and the first for head coach T.C. Taylor.
Wow, that'll keep you around. That'll make you a legend. I mean, how about the job that T.C. Taylor has done at Jackson State since replacing Coach Prime, Deion Sanders?
Fantastic job indeed, and he's been on staff since 2019, so he was there when Coach Prime took over just after COVID, and now that he has the reins, he's been able to put his stamp on this program.
Delay of game, kicking team.
What is going on?
Penalty, free kick.
Delay of game on a kickoff coming out of a commercial break.
Jay,
sins, as you called it.
Yes. Do you credit any of that to, we kind of talked about this being one of the loudest games that you will hear in HBCU football. Southern was playing during the break. The drum line is playing now. Does that impact at all your concentration as a player?
Oh, you're a kicker. Kick the ball. You look at the clock. You start
the
going
offensive lineman
and
for
kick
that
it.
matter.
Yeah, I mean, on a kickoff, that's crowd noise. Can't do it.
Eric Simmons on the short kick, and he's got some room. Eric Simmons, who is across the 50-yard line as he's dragged down into Southern territory. He's going to be marked at the 45-yard line. So outstanding starting field position for the second drive for Jackson State.
And what do we always say? A good team is going to make you pay when you make a mistake, right? You made the mistake. You gave them 5 extra yards. Well, Jackson State's a really good team. They're going to make you pay. Now they've got great field position.
Well, Jackson State's offense #1 in the SWAC for rushing and total yards, averaging 26 points per game. And this is a crew that is not only outstanding in the conference on the ground, but also in all of FCS, coming in at #4 in the nation. And to that right side, Ahmad Miller, who has been a huge part of it, and he opened the season against Hampton, picked up a career-high 180 yards on the ground. And Ahmad Miller, who has quickly established himself as the go-to back.
Is stuck with the program. Hard-nosed runner. His older brother, Aubrey, played linebacker at Jackson State, one of the JSU legends.
And avoiding one tackle or wrestling out of one is Jency Riley. And a first down pickup after that 8-yard gain.
And after only 3 plays on their first offensive possession, now you're starting to see Jackson State starting to feel a little bit. This is what they do. Control the line of scrimmage. Morgan makes accurate throws. Miller running the football. Look at this formation.
And the handoff again to Ahmad Miller rather. And Miller still bouncing around near the 15-yard line. He's going to be down at the 14.
Wow, and I like the design of this play here. Take a look at the counter action. So they're going to fake everything to the right and then cut back hard left, gets a nice kick-out block from the right guard on that play there. Nice design by offensive coordinator Rip Kirk. But I'm going to give it to the offensive line coach there, who's also a coordinator, Manny Ramirez. He handles the running game. Rip Kirk handles the passing game. And right now, Jackson State showing you why they're able to put so many points on the board.
Redshirt sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee. You mentioned his older brother was the 2022 SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, currently in Canadian football. And so now Ahmad Miller, who has made some noise, much like his brother did as a linebacker. Ahmad is doing it from the backfield. And a lot of contact in the end zone as Elijah West and Nate Rimbert were going step for step. A flag comes out in the end zone and likely pass interference.
Pass interference, defense, #4. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down, Jackson State.
And this is a good job by Morgan of knowing where he's going with the football early. He recognized man-to-man coverage. He liked the matchup he had with Rimbert. pass interference, and now the Tigers are driving.
First and goal from the 2-yard line after Southern's 5th penalty. They go right up ahead. And Denario Davenport, no gain on the play, maybe one. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal.
This is where you test their mettle. You're on the road, smash mouth football. Jackson State's not going to play around with them. They're going to try and drive the ball right up the middle of the defense.
Davenport does it once again. And does he push through? They're going to say he's just short of the goal line. So good stance thus far from the Southern defense up front.
Try again. Keep hammering that nail in. If you're Jackson State, don't get too fancy or cute here. Smash mouth football. Little questionable spot there kept them short. I would go back to the same play.
Well, you saw on that graphic 7 touchdowns in the red zone on the ground. This time, Amari Matthews is stopped, tripped short. And the defensive hold as the play made.
Wow, what a great job of winning the one-on-one matchup. You'll see it come from the linebacker position. That's LaFleur, Grayson LaFleur, number 34. Great job coming from his outside linebacker position and blowing up that play in the backfield.
And I'll tell you this, not afraid to go for it with the dominance that they've seen up front. So 4th and goal coming up from the Southern 1-yard line. 3 to go on the play clock. And a timeout taken by Jackson State.
Yeah, first of the half.
So they will have an opportunity to discuss this. And Jay, what do you do here? You have had so much success on the ground, but you've been stopped 3 times so far. Do you go back on the ground?
Yep, you do. You run it because you just need a yard. And yes, they made some outstanding individual plays, but I still would force feed the run. Man, what's at stake here? Look here. Look what we got here. Jackson State, number 1. South Carolina State, 2. Central, 3. Alabama State, 4. Howard, 5. Now, I want to show this for a reason. Southern University has played Alabama State. They played North Carolina Central. And they're playing Jackson State. Only team in the country, HBCU, that's played 3 of the top 5 HBCU programs. So there's a lot of noise around here, but that's a tough schedule they've got early on.
Indeed. Here, 4th and goal. The launch over and landing on his feet. Touchdown. Davenport with the 8th rushing score of the season inside the red zone for Jackson State. Degree of difficulty there and the landing, Jay. How do you grade it?
He got hit airborne to get spun around. Very good job of holding on to the football and the flexibility by the young man. Just, as you say, he stuck the landing,
Yes.
stuck the landing. Entertaining touchdown, but Southern University made him work for it. But a good team's going to find a way to put a touchdown on the board.
Up and through, and a 7-3 lead for the defending HBCU national champion Jackson State Tigers. As he went airborne, he came down
like
in
Simone
the
Biles.
end zone, say, "Oh yeah!" Jackson State on top. Well, Jackson State answering that field goal from Southern. And the sonic boom. Wait a minute, the sonic boom of the South was just playing during the break, and we talked about how this was probably going to be one of the loudest games you'll hear. They call it the Boombox Classic. It's affectionately known. And right now, things are just pretty calm, but we will go back to our decibel meter throughout just to see how loud it does get here in A.W. Mumford Stadium.
I've always said this is the loudest football game we cover. Put it up there with the Florida Classic, real loud too, but this game is legendary. Always loud, 2 outstanding bands. Jackson State could be the loudest band in the country. Didn't say they're the best band, they could be the loudest band in the country. And Southern's always a top 5 band. The fan bases know it. Didn't realize the schools were so close. A little less than 3 hours separate these 2 schools. And Blue Bloods in the SWAC.
And right after the touchdown, coming out of break, the kickoff goes out of bounds. So Southern will get the football at the 35-yard line.
Drum line there from the sonic boom of the South. One of those things I like when you go about the HBCU landscape. Back in the day, they used to have a PA announcer. Stomp your feet, close your mouth, because here comes the baddest band in the South. Make room. Here comes Sonic, boom, boom.
And we saw them a couple of years ago in the Red Lobster Band of the Year competition. So the Sonic Boom of the South under the direction of Dr. Dr. Roderick Little. One of the best bands in HBCU. And right now, we're going to get the call from Wyatt Myers III. We saw 2 flags.
There was no foul for a late hit out of bounds. Kick out of bounds, kicking team, number 36. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Southern.
So they waved off that second flag, as you heard, and Southern will start from the 35-yard line. And if you're Fred McNair, again, having great success during his time at Alcorn State, was controlling the East when he was with the Braves, how does he inject some type of new life into this Southern offense now that he's taken over the play calling duties?
Well, all starts with the quarterback, right? And right now, the problem he's got is Strother is not seeing stuff well. So what do you do when a quarterback is not seeing stuff well? Run him. Make it simple. Give him a run-pass option. Hand the ball off, or when you're going to throw it, get around on the edge and you can take off running.
They're putting it in his hands, and he unleashes it, and well overthrown. You saw some safety help coming over the top, and it's incomplete.
You said it right there, Tim. What did you see there? You saw safety help over the top, which means what? Go someplace else with the football. This is coverage underneath and somebody coming over the top. You either have to stick that throw, it's got to be a stick seam, but you can't put air on it with a free safety in the middle of the field. He was fortunate that ball was not intercepted. He's not seeing things well. He's not making good decisions right now from the quarterback position.
And we could very well see Cam McCoy before this game is over, depending upon how Strother does. The handoff to Jason Gabriel, first time he's touched the rock. Then a gain of 5 yards, so it's going to be up 3rd and 5 after Ashton Taylor makes the tackle.
And I like the formation, so now they're going with a little trips formation, a little bunch formation to the right. That's distracting, so they're trying to spread them out so that they can run the football.
Handed off again, and Gabriel Jr., who's going to pick up the first down and keep the drive going. So back-to-back runs from Jason Gabriel Jr., and Southern moves the chains.
Yeah, that was a blown assignment, but good job of recognizing that this formation is giving Jackson State trouble. So they got up to the line of scrimmage and just disguised the formation a little bit, but still with the intention of running the football.
So 1st and 10 from the 47. Again, getting to the edge once more is Jason Gabriel. You think back to their last matchup at Fresno State, they netted 11 rushing yards. So establishing on the ground is really important, Jay.
Now this is why this play didn't work. Watch the angle that he's going to take here. He's going to sell out, come inside instead of staying to the outside as we roll this one. His job is nothing gets outside of him. Uh-oh, you went inside. Here comes something outside you. Cat and mouse. They set you up. You took the bait.
And this time it's Strother who takes it. And another first down here as Jeremiah Williams comes in to touch.
That's what Strother needs. He needs to get involved in the game. Sometimes a quarterback, you got to get hit a few times, and then you start to feel that you're part of the game.
So a fresh set of downs for the Jaguars from the Tigers' 42. They hand it off, and that's Trey Holly, and Holly with a nice cutback. And the tackle made there by big Jeremiah Williams, the interior lineman for the Tigers, gain of 5.
And good vision by Holly. He sees the lane, able to cut, accelerate, upfield, picks up positive yards on first down.
Cam Salas was also in on that play, and we've been calling his name quite a bit from his free safety position here on 2nd and 5. Holly once again to that left side as he bounces and up and through and inside the red zone on that run after the LSU transfer puts them in striking distance again. 20-yard pickup.
And back to this. They realize this exotic formation is exposing Jackson State in the run game. They're going to continue to run the football.
And Holly just falling on his own there, but 7 straight runs for this Southern offense. And so you can see what the identity is. Let's take the hand out of the ball of our quarterback and get the ground game going.
Yep, get the guys up front. The offensive line, which is an experienced group for Southern University. But Jackson State won't budge. They still have 2 safeties high. So when they come out with that 2 high safety look, the guy standing on the 5-yard line, you're supposed to be able to run the ball against 2 safety look, 2 high safety look.
Scramble to the outside, and a penalty marker comes out at the end of the play. And that's going to come back, a hold on Southern.
Holding offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty, second down.
That's against the left tackle, Jerron Lewis.
Left side of your screen, a decent pocket. This is where you have to settle. That's the happy feet. The pocket was there, and as the quarterback escaped, Jerron Lewis, not knowing that he was running, got called for holding. Tough break for the Jaguars.
So we're going to see a change in quarterback as we anticipated. Cam McCoy going against his former team. He was suited up for them last year, and now he dons a Southern Jaguar uniform here on 2nd and 19. And McCoy, a dual threat option, quickly gets it out into Darren Morris, and the pass is incomplete. Oh, I'm sorry, it is a catch.
Cam McCoy, what he brings to the game is speed, and they're going to have him go out to the sideline, but he's one of the fastest quarterbacks in FCS football, 3rd fastest guy on the Jaguar team. I'm sure we'll see him again later, but right now they're going back to Strother.
And that is likely going to be the last play of the game as both teams retreat to their sidelines. A 7-3 ball game after one here in this SWAC opener from the Bluff. 2 conference rivals going head to head, and it's 17th ranked Jackson State on top after one. Well, in his first season as head coach, it was Terrence Graves who led them to a SWAC West Division title and the SWAC championship game. And so the Jaguars come in the preseason as number 1 in the West once again. And Jay, we have talked often about just how wild and wacky the West can be.
It's up for grabs, and Southern, 1-3 on the year, but they're undefeated in conference play. So it all starts for them right now.
On 3rd and 20, they hand it off to Mike Franklin. They get negligible yards there. And so we've already seen Nathan Zimmer kick his longest of the season, 37 yards. 37-yard field goal back in the first quarter to get Southern on the board. This one stepping back 1 yard now from 38. Correction, it's a 41-yard field goal attempt. It's up, and it is through. So that now being his longest of the season. A 7-6 ball game as the new light show unveiled a couple of weeks ago, already in motion here from A.W. Mumford Stadium, Pete Richardson Field. We told you about the West, looking over at the East Division. Well, it's Jackson State, Jackson State, Jackson State. They usually say JS, JS, JSU. I just said it in totality there.
That's how dominating they've been.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been pretty dominant, not only projected to be number 1 in the SWAC East, but number 1 in HBCU football by power rankings. coming here on the road up by 1 point. Florida A&M, what is going on at your alma mater, Tiff? I'll let you comment on that. And Alabama State's had a pretty good season, too.
Yeah.
They've had a pretty good season there with Eddie Robinson Jr.
Well, those two teams met earlier today in Bragg Memorial Stadium in Tallahassee, and it was all Hornets, 42-14, the final in that one. Ooh. And so, an excellent start to conference play for Alabama State.
Wow. Is that 2 consecutive SWAC games the Rattlers have lost? Because they lost to Valley. Was it at Bragg last year?
And last year, yeah, that broke the home winning streak in here. And so,
is it hot in Tallahassee?
You gotta figure some things out if you're James Colsey III. But still very early in the conference season. On the return and the skip, and another good starting field position here for Jackson State. Jacobian Morgan, last year's Offensive Player of the Year, trying to listen in, but it's so loud. We talked about it. Southern University's human jukebox trying to make it all the more difficult.
I mean, this is SWAC football. Saturday night SWAC here in the Bluff. Look, and they're making all that noise, and there are people holding their instruments. Those are just the tubas blowing right now, the sousaphones. Now you're going to hear it.
What a fantastic evening for football. Great crowd on hand as well. Always a fantastic atmosphere. And coming out, you think about it, play clock winds dead, and Jacobian Morgan going over.
Will the Southern Band please refrain from playing when Jackson State
has the ball? That's HBCU football. You gotta love it.
Will the Southern Band please refrain from playing when Jackson State has the ball? Thank you.
Jacobian Morgan went over to Y.M. Myers and said, this is deafening right now. I can't hear. But if you think about it, Southern, one of the top 5 bands in the latest band rankings, getting ready for what could be their first appearance in the Red Lobster Band of the Year competition in December.
Illegal snap, offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And I promise you, at some point, Jackson State's going to do the same thing to Southern.
Yeah.
When Southern has the ball, the Jackson State band is going to play to get a warning. But veteran move by Jacobian Morgan to go straight to the official. Hey, I can't hear. I don't want to risk jumping off sides. And they did it anyway.
The Mississippi native on 1st and 15, giving chase, and the helmet coming off for Zach Yassine.
You know what?
And
they're going to penalize Yassine because he continued to play.
He has to stop when his helmet comes off. But you got to love the pursuit from Zach Yassine and really all of that defense for the Jaguars.
College football rule is once your helmet comes off, you're supposed to stop. And you're no longer allowed to participate in the play.
Personal foul, defense, number 91. Player participated in the play after his helmet came off. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You see right there, he's chasing. Oh, that's obvious, yeah. Helmet came off and he chased after him. It's for player safety.
I was going to say, it's in place to keep him safe. So he's going to sit on the sideline, stay on the sideline for at least a play. And we've also seen him limping, though. So we'll see if he comes back into the game. He can re-enter after this play. He's going to set up 1st and 15 from the Southern 45-yard line. Back in Jaguar territory. Out of the hands. Pass complete to Nate Rimbert. And Nate Rimbert picks up the first down. An HBCU All-American a season ago at Mississippi Valley State.
RPO, run pass option, right? Look at the quarterback here. He sees the running back is going to get tackled for a loss, pulls it, throws a screen. That's how you play the quarterback position there. Don't get rattled. That's what they call the RPO. It's the run pass option. The run wasn't there. The pass was wide open. Nice execution.
Preseason Offensive Player of the Year, Jacobian Morgan, once again into the hands of Nate Rimbert. And Rimbert with the catch, and then a flag flying out late at the end of the play. You see Rimbert potentially shaken up. He went down for a quick second.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 34. The previous play is on a further review.
So they called that on the backup Mike linebacker Grayson LaFleur out of right here in Baton Rouge. And let's get another look at it here, because that was a 12-yard pickup. That is an extra 15 yards that you add on to that play. But let's see what they saw.
And a possible ejection, you know, and I'm going to say this. Nate Rimbert's 5'8", low center of gravity. He's low to the ground. And when you've got LaFleur, 6'1" linebacker, he would have to make a concerted effort, in my opinion, to not have helmet-to-helmet contact in that play right there. I didn't see a launch.
I didn't see a launch. So they look at a couple of indicators, right? And so by the book of the rule, not what his size is, was he a defenseless player, right? And then was there a launch or in the head or neck area?
The ball carrier, so since he had the football, then, you know, you can go after him, but you can't lead helmet first. And what I saw from that replay was he led with the helmet, and that's what they're trying to get out of the game. Did you see it? And it wasn't a, like I said, it's going to be tough because there was not a launch. As you mentioned, those got to be the indicators. But right here, if this is not leading with your helmet first, then I don't know what is. I mean, when he comes over, coming from the left side of your screen, he's coming in head down, helmet first. I think that targeting call is going to stand.
And that would only add to just those self-inflicted negatives that we have seen from Southern. If the play is, or the call is upheld, that would be 8 penalties on the Jaguars. Let's hear from
After review, there is no targeting on the play. The result of the play is a first down.
Okay. Missed that one. But if it's player safety, I thought he led helmet first, but there were none of the indicators there. So that's a break for Southern University.
So after the wiping out of the targeting call, 12-yard pickup still does set up 1st and 10 for Jackson State.
Henry Miller dialing up a blitz. He's going to try and bring pressure.
Jalen Dupree in motion, the handoff up ahead to Ahmad Miller. And Miller, who is tackled and brought down by Vincent Page. Vincent Page Jr., preseason first-team SWAC selection. Leader for this defense, along with Kelby Givens, here on 2nd and 6. Morgan has a man and almost brought in by Jamil Gardner Jr. Traylon James was on the coverage. The Baton Rouge native cornerback was right there with him.
A really good throw from Morgan. I actually thought that Gardner was going to come down with that ball. Defensive back able to get just enough of it to force an incompletion. Look at the time that the quarterback, Jacoby Morgan, has had in this game. The pocket's been clean. This offensive line's done a really good job protecting their quarterback in passing plays.
Out the hands to Ahmad Miller, and great open field tackle made there by Zay Franks. And so that's going to bring on the kicking unit here. And Gerardo Beza, who has been a solid kicker throughout his career, the graduate out of the state of Alabama, will attempt it from 36 yards out. And well off the mark there, and the score remains 7-6 Jackson State still holds the lead, but they come up empty on that possession. Southern University and the Jaguars are in a good one with Jackson State. Well, Southern University, founded in 1880 right here in Baton Rouge. More than 7,000 students. President Dennis J. Shields, the Chancellor John K. Pierre, 3 NFL Hall of Famers.
You want me to name them?
To the credit. Oh, well, you know, after this play, I certainly want to hear from you as, oh, well, we've got a penalty marker, so we will have time after we get the call right quick.
False start, offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Go for it.
Mel Blunt, Aeneas Williams, and the newest member from Southern University, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Harold 6'9" Carmichael. Wide receiver, 6'9", playing wide receiver.
Like the run up ahead from Holly on 1st and 15. And then this is what went down before the game. One of the top nursing programs, the largest producer of African-American nursing graduates in the state of Louisiana, top 3 in the country, and the Southern Mobile, going around doing all types of testing and
give it up,
being able to,
this is good stuff right here,
a number 1 ranked program according to nurse.org. When you talk about the excellence of HBCUs, therein lies a fantastic example. Strother, one-on-one coverage, going down the field, has a man, and almost brought in by Malachi Jackson. Kamari Rogers helped to break it up, but we saw a flag come out along the way, so DPI likely.
Probably, but I'm still going to say you have to find a better place to go with the football. That's a low-risk pass there, bailed out with the pass interference, possibly we anticipate. But you think I can show you somebody else that's open to?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you after this call.
Holding. Defense, number 2. 10-yard penalty, automatic.
Now, they don't draw up this play for you to, this is a 3-level throw. Now, watch them have a crossing route that's going to come right there, right there. These are clear-out routes. This is the clear-out. They want to hit the crosser. As we run the play, you'll see, here he comes. Look, is he open?
He's open.
Is he open?
He's open.
Don't go to the clear-out route. That's the crossing route. They cleared it out to have a crosser come through. He's not seeing it. He's not seeing things well.
So Strother, who was 9 of 14 last week, or 2 weeks ago, 127 yards against Fresno State here, is trying to get into a rhythm. He's got time. Keeps the feet moving, finds the open man, and the pass is, they're going to say he caught it out of bounds. So Cam Jefferson, even though he came up with it, he didn't come down with it in bounds, and that was Kamari Rogers again.
And this is a great job by Kamari Rogers. Once he sees the receiver, Jefferson, leave his feet, he knows he's going to make the catch. Push him out of bounds. Watch him come, track him down, and push him out of bounds with the hit. Great job. Realizing he was beat, the receiver elevated. That's why they tell people, don't leave your feet unless you have to. This turns out to be a long incompletion.
You saw Rogers shaking up there on the sideline. 2nd and 10. Here's Trey Holly. Trey Holly comes back. Oh, my goodness. Trey Holly taking off across the 20. 10. No flags on the field. Touchdown, Holly. Hype me up. He said, hype me up. I hype me up. 73-yard dash for Trey Holly.
What's that decimal say now? What a run. The home run hitter, Trey Holly, the best running back in the history of Louisiana high school football in terms of number of yards gained. They've been waiting for that. He's an impact transfer that came over from LSU. We've seen the exceptional explosive breakaway speed. He's a home run hitter, and he just knocked one out of the park.
Fred McNair told us this week, I need to see more explosive plays from our offense. And that's exactly what Trey Holly did. He delivered.
Hey, if you're a home run hitter, you want to find a pitch you can hit. Trey Holly saw it right down the middle of the strike zone and said, get out of here. Jaguars on top.
When you flash back to week 0, that MEAC Swag Challenge, the introduction in a Southern uniform, everybody. Welcome in Trey Holly, 80-yard runs, big burst, and they said he would be the guy who was going. We just saw in a Jaguar lead here, 13-7 with 10:33 to go in the first half.
Wow.
And we've seen some interesting kickoffs so far. Travis Terrell, the All-American from a season ago at that returning specialist position. You know what? Special teams had to play special, Terrence Graves said. And they said, you're not going to be special tonight here, Travis Terrell.
Well, nobody's kicked it to him all season long, so you could tell Jackson State said, hey, you know what, tell the up guys to throw it back to him. But the problem was the up guy threw it 20 yards behind him, so he probably got more yardage going straight ahead, but TC's looking kind of like, why'd you do that? But we'll see. Travis Terrell, special talent. He can hurt you, so you see why teams continue to kick away from him.
Let's see how the Tigers respond here on this drive, and the carry ahead from Ahmad Miller. And Miller loses the football, it's on the ground. And Southern comes up with it, or was he down? Elijah West has the ball in his hands. The officials confer.
When his back was turned to the defense, Southern started raking at the ball. It's a matter of was he down.
The player was ruled down by contact. Second out.
I want to get another look at this here, Jay, because Miller, you talked about his back being down.
So they're coming in at a rake. That's 34 raking, knees down. Just barely.
Yep.
Just barely. If Miller was 2 inches taller, that would have been a fumble.
So a 9-yard gain there brings up 2nd and 1. Jacoby and Morgan airing it out. 2 defenders around, nearly intercepted through the hands of Zay Franks. Dangerous pass there from Morgan. And it's 3rd and 1.
And you can do that when it's 2nd and 1 situation, but this case here, the Southern defensive backs trying to get back and get it. Zay Franks almost came away with an outstanding pick, but that ball was thrown a long way.
And Miller forging ahead for the first down past the 45-yard line, downed at the 46. Well, this was a storyline that we had coming into tonight's game. The fact that Jackson State's rushing attack, 254 yards on the ground. And so far, the Southern defense has held them at bay through a quarter and some change. Zach, you see there on the stop.
And I'm really starting to see this offensive line for Jackson State start to take over, particularly the interior line, the center, 51, Valbuena and Isaiah Villanueva, number 72. They're winning their one-on-one matchups in the teeth of Southern University's defensive line.
Morgan, one-on-one coverage, pass made, caught, and keep on going. That's Jamil Gardner Jr. Almost brought one down in the end zone. This time he hauls it in for a first down. 20-yard pickup. Moving with tempo. The handoff to Miller. Miller being patient running. And brought down by Elijah West.
Let's go back to that last play there on the slant route. You see Kelby Givens had a beat on him. Oh, that's a late hit. Kelby Givens got away with one. That should have been roughing the passer. Surprise, not called. Nevertheless, big time throw by Jacobian Morgan.
Southern takes a timeout with 8:36 remaining in the first half, and that's a great point, Jay. Not only that, you mentioned Kelby Givens' name at the beginning, but what have the Tigers been able to do to kind of quiet him in this game? You talk about that great offensive line play so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're running, and they're running at the teeth of the defense, so they're not trying to run outside. They're running inside zone, up the middle. Givens plays defensive end, so he's on the outside kind of looking in. And in pass protection, they're having running backs on him. Right now, that's a good matchup between he and the right tackle, Quavion Davis, who goes 6'8", 330. So one thing about Givens, on the shorter end, but when you're going against a big guy like Quavion Davis, you've got to neutralize that speed.
There's big Quavion Davis, preseason All-SWAC honors. Really changed his body, a guy who's really helped to morph himself into an even greater offensive lineman there at right tackle here on 2nd and 4. Morgan keeps it himself, tries to go outside, and Vincent Page Jr., the Mike linebacker, Gardner Jr. and catching, just as we said, Jameel Gardner Jr.'s name, going for that one-on-one matchup on the outside, pick up of 8.
Yeah, and watch this. He's going to catch the ball, then get hit, lose it, and then catch it again. Great concentration.
And a flag on the field.
False start, offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty, first out.
They're going against the right guard, Isaiah Villanueva.
Good job by this offense for Jackson State after surrendering the lead to Southern University. Jack State seems like they're in a position to try and gain the lead back with a pretty impressive drive thus far.
The handoff and really nowhere to go for Davenport. That was Kelby Givens there in on the stop from his defensive end position, playing the run well.
You know, Givens had the speed, so if he can run down the line, he's so fast, he can be an impact. One-man wrecking crew from his defensive end position. He's not the guy you want to leave unblocked.
No, Defensive Player of the Year a season ago, came in as the preseason Defensive Player of the Year again this year. 10th play of this drive. Morgan zips it in there to Nate Rimbert, and Rimbert with the catch. He's down at the 12-yard line, pickup of 8. Well, we've seen Jacobian Morgan throughout his career. Again, he took over those starting duties last year. It was his team. He, along with the complement of the Offensive Player of the Year and Irv Mulligan a season ago. And Morgan, more than 3,500 career passing yards. Here, 3rd and 7 for his team. Again, and a dart right in there to Jameel Gardner Jr.
If Jacobian Morgan can't do anything else, he can throw the heck out that slant pattern. I mean, he is delivering strikes, particularly when he throws to Gardner, number 7.
And 1st and goal here, moving quickly. Davenport, who scored the lone touchdown on the ground for the Tigers, gets the carry, and Givens on the stop. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal.
We've seen Jackson State struggle to get the ball in the end zone before. They had to go for it on 4th down. So don't assume that they can just run straight ahead and get it. As Southern brings in some beef.
Big number 67, Jaden Rogers, coming in at 6'2", listed at 375.
Run stuffer.
Morgan keeps it himself into the end zone. And Morgan with the score, but a flag on the play.
Hold it.
And Jay, you're saying it's coming back?
Holding. Offense. Number 5. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Big penalty.
It is. It erases that touchdown from Morgan as Kobe Paul was the guilty party.
And you'll see it right here on the sideline. The quarterback's coming. Paul is in position, and he pulls him. And you see right there, that's a hold right there. Didn't have to do it. Should have just pushed him. Give him a shove.
So instead of being at the 2-yard line, backs up 10 yards, and another piece of laundry flies out.
False start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, second penalty of this drive called on Villanueva, and the Tigers moving in the wrong direction. So now it's 2nd and goal from the Jaguars' 16-yard line. Morgan has a receiver fall along his route, and Shamar Savage couldn't get his footing. It's going to bring up 3rd and goal.
And that penalty there took a touchdown off the board. Now 3rd and long. You've seen him have success throwing the slant pattern to Jameel Gardner. At the top of your screen, one of the adjustments I've seen Zay Franks make, number 7 up top, playing hard inside leverage.
Drops it, picks it right back up. And Morgan is running for dear life, had a man open, and Jameel Gardner Jr., as you just talked about, Jay, couldn't get it to him. And it's 4th and goal. And Beza, who missed from 36 yards out in his last attempt, comes in a few yards closer, and now from 33 yards out. Inside the 5, and we're going to see a penalty marker back here. The 13-yard line.
Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And that erases the run there from Franklin.
Can't have that. What was the theme from Coach Graves this week? Execution on a running play. That was a pretty big running play. You get called for a hold. Poor execution.
And that's something that you know he's going to have a conversation about with his guys at the half, and making sure they do a better job of not hurting themselves. So Cam McCoy now in at running our quarterback. 2nd and 16, and he likes to take off quickly. The Jackson State defense knows it as he goes up against his former team, and he's forced out of bounds by Quincy Ivory.
And that's how you know that Cameron McCoy has wheels, because everybody knew he was going to run the football, and he still was able to get to the outside, pick up 4 or 5 yards on a running play.
And right now, McCoy just used in certain packages, trying to pick up some yards. He picks up 4 now on 3rd and a dozen. Felt the pressure, avoids it, gets the throwaway, intercepted right near the goal line. That's Cam Salas coming up with a huge pick. And Cam Salas, the redshirt sophomore, we've called his name quite a bit in this first half, and picks up his first INT of the season.
I mean, take a look at that. Salas going to be in the middle of the field, just reading his eyes in the end zone. Once he makes contact, that's just poor. Can't go there with football. He was covered. He was covered.
Game management.
And a costly turnover.
Please find out who's flying the drone and have them remove them from the stadium.
And
game management.
not to say that the department knows what he's talking about sometimes. Sometimes I do, right?
Well, you played the quarterback position. You're a Black College Football Hall of Famer, so you know.
Let's go deeper into what I said.
Okay.
Momentum into the locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
If you can increase the lead, this band, this crowd's ready to do it. They lost the momentum.
Right.
They're stagnant. Now they really got to make sure they stop Jackson State.
Well, you can stop Jackson State potentially. The ball is spotted at the 3-yard line. Southern does, though, have a little bit of hope given the fact that they get the ball to start the second half. Currently in a drone delay, Jay, on the field, as we heard YN Myers III ask for game management to have the drone removed. Flying above Pete Richardson Field. It's currently stationary right now.
All right, Tiff.
All right, so we've got a delay in the game. Good time to tell the folks and set up this week's Jays Give Me 5.
All right, Tiff, how about this? These are 2 blue blood programs, right? So how about 5 coaching legends that you have to know about, from these schools? Rick Comegy, Jackson State number 5, doesn't get the credit he deserves. Did a good job of bringing that program through some very tough times that they experienced. I'm going number 4, Coach Prime. You know why? Because they're still talking about Coach Prime at Jackson State. In HBCU football, he was bigger than JSU. He was an HBCU icon while he dominated. Coming in at number 3, right down the box from us, the legend, what's the name of this? Pete Richardson Field?
That's right.
He must have won a lot of Bayou Classics. They named the field after him. Pete Richardson comes in at number 3. 2, go over to JSU. W.C. Gordon, coach 4, Pro Football Hall of Fame. And won a bunch of games down there in Jackson, Mississippi, put him on the map, the legend. And you're going to go W.C. Gordon at Jackson. You got to go A.W. Mumford here at Southern University. It's Mumford Stadium, one of the coaching icons in HBCU football.
All-time winningest coach there at Southern University, Jay.
Okay, and on the bubble, people don't talk about James Carson a lot. Did a good job coaching when he was a head coach at Jackson State University. So, pretty solid list right there.
Oh, very strong. Very strong.
They're going to find something to argue about, though, I'm sure.
I like the list. And you gave props and love where it was due. The run up ahead from Chavis Terrell Jr. We saw him line up in a number of different positions last year, a lot at slot. Now they're saying he's more of a running back this year. He's got terrific.
Try and get the ball back for your offense and try and get that momentum back going into the locker room at halftime.
Here on 3rd down. Running, and a flag flying out. A couple at the end of the play as Janalen Dupree was scurrying around. Let's hear the call.
Holding offense. Number 14. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So 4th down all the way. And now Southern with an opportunity to get the ball back as TC Taylor's team trailing by 3 here on the road.
TC still thinking about that missed pass. That was a huge play.
Warren in Southern, or his own end zone rather, and running into the punter. And this one is going to favor Jackson State as Darren Moore's.
First down.
Oh.
It will be a first down for Jackson State. They'll get the ball back.
Running into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Self-inflicted.
They had Beza, the place kicker, back there doing the punting duties.
Got a first down, 5-yard kick. I'm sorry, guys. I should have told you 5-yard penalty running into the kicker.
Who ran into the kicker? Number 26, Tyreek Brigelia. And so instead of getting the football back with over a minute to go and a timeout to take it to the locker room, a chance to score, they hand it right back to Jackson State.
And this is going to sound, it's just what I see. That's what 1 and 3 football teams do. That's why you're 1 and 3. Those type of penalties. You have an opportunity to get off the field, get the ball back, good field position. Another penalty running into the kicker. Delay a game, offside. That's what 1 and 3 football teams do. They need to eliminate those mistakes. And they can play between the whistles. They can play football. They've got some good athletes, but stuff like that can't happen. Not being a little harsh on them, but that's what a 1 and 3 football team does.
I mean, Jay, when you go back and you look at the first half, you would say, well, we've had our opportunities and we've shot ourselves in the foot when we did find ourselves in position to strike or stretch the lead out. 9 penalties in this first half, to your point, Jay, against Southern.
And they're winning. Eliminate some of the penalties, and they go up by 2 scores. Give your fans, some comfort, some room for error. Give the band something to play about.
Well, this near capacity crowd wants to cheer about something because it favors the Jaguars. You see in the stands the Southern blue and gold.
Columbia blue, it's called.
Columbia blue, but they also say Southern blue.
Okay. Okay.
And Morgan completes the pass. Remember, the clock does stop on first downs until they move the chains. So 46 seconds remaining. Jackson State does have 1 timeout. Back at it again from the 33. Bottled up inside.
There he is.
And there's Kelby Givens.
Bruno
was right there with Zach Yassine, who's kind of been the Robin, if you will, to the Batman along that defensive line. Good penetration.
Jackson State, their third.
Good job of just getting to the quarterback, and then you see him coming over to help out. Jaguars defense comes up with a huge sack. It looked like Jackson State was starting to get some momentum.
And so Jackson State spending their final timeout.
And, that timeout, good look at TC Taylor. He's on his way to trying to join that Legends list, isn't he? Fantastic winning percentage, won an HBCU national championship, played at Jackson State. He's off to a promising career in this coaching profession for TC Taylor.
I would absolutely agree with that. Just a reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll see the Sonic Boom of the South out of Jackson State from the SIP. And the Southern University
Timeout.
human
Southern.
jukebox.
Their third and final timeout.
Well, Jay, when you talk about some of those coaching legends and who can add their name to the list, I'd like to add a couple of names to the list, and I'm going to go
for coaching legends.
For coaching legends, Jay.
Okay, they've coached at these schools. Tips 2 cents?
Tips 2 cents.
Okay.
Coming in with John Merritt. Now, we all know Big John from Tennessee State.
Yeah.
However, before he had that, 2-decade run with the Tigers, he was with the Jackson State Tigers in the capital city.
Really? Did he win?
Yes, he did. He ushered them into the SWAC and had a 63, 37, and 5 record overall. And then Dawson Odoms, when you look at his winning percentage
Coach O,
overall, especially when he helped to deliver them their last SWAC championship back in 2013, that was his first season taking over as the head man. Quickly out to Travis Terrell. Terrell, who is fast, and if you're Terrell, you want to try to get out of bounds, but instead tackled in the field of play. Or are they going to say he got out of bounds? It looked like he was a little bit short of the line. Third down. Okay. 3rd and 7 here. No timeouts remaining for either team. Jacoby and Morgan looking down the field, and the pass is complete. So Janalen Dupree hauls it in. You got to spike it quickly.
As soon as they snap, 1 second should get off the clock, and the ball should be snapped right now. That's too much time.
Instead,
it's too much time. That's too much time. 5 seconds.
5 seconds, yep.
You're going to need that. When you're trying to steal some points at the end of a half, 5 seconds to spike a football. Not the best clock management.
So you've got to have a couple of opportunities to march down the field. You need to get somewhere in the 30-yard range for Gerardo Beza to have a shot at the range where he's comfortable. And Morgan going for it, has a man open right into the hands of Janalen Dupree, the stretch out and touchdown. Wow.
How does that happen?
51 yards for the TD catch and run into the hands of Janalen Dupree.
I mean, just ran down the seam. They passed it off. Too easy, too easy. How does that happen when you don't know your assignments? You can't let a guy go down the middle of your defense untouched.
And you know they're going to likely review that
on the field
and take a look at it, and here it is.
For a touchdown. The previous play is on a further review.
Well, Michael Williams II was on the coverage there, and he got beat. And Janalen Dupree, that if it stands, his first touchdown of the season.
And so you know what happens. Michael Williams comes in. He's a backup cornerback. And he just got out of position, didn't know his assignment. They gave him a trips formation. Let's see. I'm going to give that a touchdown. He was on the Southern defender. Right? The Southern defender's on the ground.
His
knees
ground.
not down.
Now, from that angle, yes, go back to that other angle and does his, where's the ball when his shoulder touches the ground?
He's got it above his head. So I would say with it being above his head, that's a touchdown. I don't see anything that says you say, nope, the ball clearly was short. That look there, he's extending, that's touchdown.
Yep. And you would need to have conclusive evidence
after review
to overturn
the ruling on the field is upheld. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Indeed. A touchdown it was, and Janalen Dupree hauls in his first touchdown of the season, the grandson of former Oklahoma running back Marcus Dupree. So 8 plays, 97 yards down the field, and Jackson State regains the lead.
I'm older than you, but I remember Marcus Dupree. Marcus, you ever see the 30 for 30, the greatest it never was?
Yes. Battled through a number of knee injuries, among other things, and here Jackson State sees the fruit of Marcus Dupree, his grandson, Janalen Dupree, with a touchdown.
So this is what happened. Let's put him in the spotlight because this is the area they're going to attack. With a seam route behind it, you can't pass it. You can't pass it off. So look at the safety, one who should be a little bit deeper. But as it's coming, you got to get back. You got to get back. You got to get back. Oh, no. Did not get back. Thought he had help behind him. That's the communication. He's a backup corner who they brought in.
Jay, you go back to the running into the kicker penalty.
Yeah.
At the end, or nearing the end of the half, that allows Jackson State to get the ball back, first down, and they drive down the field before the close, and they just grab Big Mo back.
They grab it back, and, I thought I was being harsh, but you just sense it. I said, that's running into the kicker when you're about to get the ball back is something that a team that's 1-3 does. And then to give up an explosive play for a touchdown, let alone a field goal. They gave up a touchdown. 50-yard touchdown with hardly any time on the clock.
Hicks on the return here, and Hicks wrapped up and brought down, and that's going to bring us to the close.
That's the end
of the first
quarter.
half. Well, this heated rivalry between Jackson State and Southern has not disappointed through 2 quarters. 7. To close out, gives the 17th ranked Jackson State Tigers the lead going into the locker room. We're joined now by T.C. Taylor, their head coach, and just how important was grabbing that momentum back and the lead back going into the locker room?
It was huge. Southerners came out. They playing on fire right now. We're not playing good football here in the first half, having mishaps on the special teams. But I'm very proud of my team right there. That was a great drive, with Jacoby and what he just did. He missed the slant goal a couple plays before, and then came out and responded. Great play by Dupree. So I'm glad we responded. It's going to be a great second half.
TC, when he came over to the sideline, I saw you talk to him, and I told Tiff up here, I said, TC, man, he missed that pass before.
Yeah, and we had been setting him up with the slant all night, so I just knew we had an opportunity for the slant go, and it popped wide open. But like I said, big time of him, a senior out there, and he responded well.
Let me ask you this. What are you going to go in there? What's your message going to be to your team in the locker room right now?
Hey, this is big-time football. You look at the crowd out here. It's a lot of people out here. The energy is in the stadium. It's rivalry football, the Boombox Classic. Let's go finish because we didn't play our best half this first half.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Well, we said from the beginning it was going to be loud. He talked about the energy, and it has been big energy so far here from Baton Rouge. We're expecting a great second half, but coming up on the other side, you will see the bands in action. 2 of the best going head-to-head.
Mic check 1.
Mumford Stadium. Are you ready for the multi-simplicity, the preeminence, the preeminent marching band of all the land, the reason for the season, the often imitated, but never, ever duplicated, the Southern University Marching Band from Jaguar Land. The Southern University Marching Band is led by drum major DeMarcus, the showstopper here from New Iberia, Louisiana. Show him some love.
Now, fans, last night was just appetizing to the main course. Fans, take out your phone and double check the time. Jack State, as soon as you cross the state line, you are on the clock. Actually, this is the exact time you're going to take this woman on the bus. 8:04 p.m. Now go and copy that. Oh yeah, we should have us. We should have us. We don't have to prove us. We should have us. Oh, this motherfucker's power.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jukebox will now drill to Shalimar, a night to remember. Optical illusion. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. And now put your hands together for fabulous dancing dogs and then mesmerize you with dancing skill. The tune is called Emotion by Mariah Carey. SU Band will perform for you. Red Light Special, directed by Director Band. Associate Director Band, Mr. William Young. And now, moving at an amazing trailblazing 360 steps per minute. One of the many reasons why when you say Southern University Marching Band, it means showtime. It is this, on their chest to let you know that they're the best. The Southern University Marching Band is simply America's finest. So sit back, relax, be about to experience the most exciting time of your life. As the stimulating, the dazzling, the house rock, the rock of all houses as the crowd pleaser takes you on a ride. The jukebox will now get down to real big. Take me there.
Mumford, you ready to party? Say, oh yeah! I said, oh yeah! The jukebox is back, and we are shutting it all the way down. House real big, car real big, juke real big, everything real big. We about to bring it down, so stand your feet. The jukebox gonna give you a treat. Come on, jukebox. Show them how we take it through it. Cause we're the baddest in the land. We got the best band. The human jukebox gonna take you through there. Yeah! Yeah! I'm talking about it. Ripple, ripple, ripple. Crazy leg, crazy leg. Front to the back. Yeah, the juke is the best. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. The human jukebox is the best for life. Now power down, 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 down. Dig, 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 dig. We about to get lit. We about to knock it dead. The human jukebox, yeah, we digging on our head. We digging on our head. We digging on our head. We digging, 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 digging on our head. Hey, 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 hey. Now somebody scream. Everybody say, you. Woo! You know what to do. Everybody.
You're listening to the sounds of the human jukebox under the direction of Dr. Kedrick Taylor. More action on the way when we come back.
You. We good.
Great ball game here between the 17th ranked Jackson State Tigers on the road here in the SWAC opener against Southern University. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green back here with you. And your thoughts on the first half, Jay?
I want to talk about halftime. What about that halftime performance, the red light special by Southern? That stuck with me. That stuck with me. But let's get to some football. In the first half, Southern University showed that they have the ability to score points. Trey Holly is as good as we heard he was. He's a difference maker in this game, but what happens, this was a crucial penalty right there. You're getting ready to get the ball back before the half. You run it to the punter. They extend the drive, and what happens? Good team's going to make you pay when you make a silly mistake, and Jackson State took advantage of it.
Jacoby Morgan was 5 of 6 on that last drive for 94 yards. He found Jadalen Dupree in the end zone to grab the lead back going into the locker room, and that's where we find ourselves here before the start of the third quarter. And so looking at the first half stats, it's Jackson State leading the way in total yardage, and interestingly enough, Southern leading the charge, rushing obviously a big lump play there, 73 yards from Trey Holly, an area where Jackson State has thrived and led the conference and among the nation's best all season long. But I think you circled there those 9 penalties for 75 yards for Southern, Jay, in that first half.
I mean, that's really bad there, and that's not going to get the job done. But to go along with the 9 penalties, 63 yards pass. And you know why it's a bad number, but you made a quarterback change. So you normally go with your best quarterback, the guy that's been doing the job. Well, he's only thrown for 63 yards in the first half. That's not cutting it.
And this has been a wonderful night here in Baton Rouge, and certainly fans came out. Jaguar Nation in full effect. Jackson State fans made the drive over 2.5 hours. And now we'll get an opportunity to hear from the Southern head coach, Terrence Graves. And Coach Graves, what did you say to your team in the locker room at half?
I told them that we played decent, above average for the most of the half, and then mentally we lost it. Turned the ball over in the red zone. We ran into the kicker, and then we gave up big plays on defense, which resulted into us losing the lead. And the thing that I told them is that we gotta lock in and focus on its mindset, attitude, and execution, because they were ready to lay down, and we gave them life. So now we got to go back out there and we got to take it from them. But we got to do our job and do it well.
You made the change at quarterback. How would you assess your quarterback Struthers' performance in the first half?
He played all right. I mean, there's times that, like I told him, you got to protect the football, son. And then there's times where you can't. I get it. You're trying to make plays, but you can't force the ball. And there's times where you just got to pull it down and run and get what you can get, and we'll live for another play. So, but he's playing. He's doing a good job. We got to play better, and don't make any mistakes to give them life.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll see.
Thank you.
How the team performs in the second half, but it goes back to what he has said earlier in the week to us. Mindset, attitude, and execution ultimately.
And those penalties. I mean, the 9 penalties, you tell your team to pay attention to detail.
And trying to do a better job on special teams. We heard T.C. Taylor tell us that going into the locker room, and they bottled up Damian Knight really quickly. He made a change at kicker, Simon Naylor, who booted it off to start this third quarter. And the QB comparison, Jacoby and Morgan, who again looked sharp on that last drive, 168 yards on 13 of 20 passes. Austin Struther, on the other hand, 4 of 10, 63 yards through an INT in the end zone.
Short leash.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a short leash. I mean, Struther was inserted kind of like a last minute because he's been playing well. Look out. Look out.
Trey Holly once again. He's off to the races, getting to the outside, and he's pushed out of bounds. Another big game as KJ Chisholm knocks him out. But we saw a 73-yard run. We showed you the halftime highlight. And here's another big one.
Yeah, look at the vision, the bounce. He realizes there's no white jerseys that have outside leverage on me. Decides to spin a guy in the defensive backfield. Big play. That's a guy like that. You keep giving him the football. You keep giving him the football. The game plan should be, how do we get Trey Holly at least 15 touches a game? 39
yards puts them in Tiger territory. Quickly out to Kobe Brown. And Brown, who has a solid game, about 5 yards on the play. But you say go back to Trey Holly.
You feed Holly. You feed Holly, let him catch his breath right now. He caught his breath on that play. Now you say, okay, where can we get him the football in the best position to do some damage? Well, it's a good start coming out of the locker room for Southern because we saw Strother just complete a pass, so maybe he gets a little rhythm. And we saw Trey Holly come up with another explosive play.
As you mentioned, the all-time leading rusher in the state of Louisiana coming out of high school. They feed the rock to him again. And the redshirt sophomore out of Farmerville, Louisiana, is a yard short. It's going to bring up 3rd and 1.
Holly's that guy where they say, he's working himself back into peak physical condition as he gets spelled by Mike Franklin, the Thunder and Lightning duo.
So Terrence Graves wants to see his team execute, put up points. And one way to do that is to come out with a touchdown in the opening drive of the second half. Jefferson in motion. They hand it off to Mike Franklin into a lot of traffic.
I think they're marking this short. Depends on which official they use for the spot. But the line judge on this side, I think, marked him short.
He's going to be short. So they went for it a couple of times on 4th down in the first half and were successful. Here, 3rd and less than a yard.
Last time on that last run play, Jackson State outside linebackers timed up the snap count to minimize the gain. Watch the 2 guys coming off the edge again. That's number 5, Shamar Hawkins. He did a good job of timing up that snap.
Franklin gets it, and I think he's denied. He goes backwards.
You think he's denied?
Good penetration.
I know he was denied. Wow, great job by the Jackson State defense, stuffing the middle.
Jeremiah Williams, the big stuffer for T.C. Taylor, one of the guys who returned. It was going to be a core piece of this championship team a season ago to try to make another run, and look at that push.
I mean, that's a great job of getting in there and getting dirty. Carmelo Jones, the backup Mike linebacker, he's a run stuffer, and he showed you that's how you play the run in short yardage situations.
Jackson State's offense back onto the field after their 97-yard drive to close out the first half. Travis Terrell Jr. looking for some room on the perimeter and a gain of a couple.
And that's a great pursuit by Grayson LaFleur, number 34 for Southern University. We mentioned his name a lot in the first half. Very active outside linebacker. Did a really good job of forcing that run back to the inside.
Terrell once again, and again another great tackle. It was Jerome Wallace the first to get there. Jaden Rogers coming in at the close of the play. It's a big dude.
Big dude, 375 pounds. Kindly. Because you talk to the coaches, they say there are days where he's touched 400 pounds on that scale. Hard to run when he's in the football game.
Now 3rd and 7 for Jackson State. Morgan going to the outside. A lot of contact there. They were looking for it. One-on-one coverage. Zay Franks was all over Kobe Paul. This is going to go against
Pass
Southern.
interference, defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they really put Zay Franks on an island, and I think this time he was just too late in locating the football. That ball hung in the air for a while, but by the time he turned around to make a play on the ball, there was too much contact with the receiver.
So across.
Correction. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Across midfield. And at the Southern 49-yard line. Fresh set of downs. Terrell got skinny in the hole, bounced outside, and then pushed out by Vincent Page Jr., who was leading tackle in the first half for the Jaguars.
Terrell's a little guy, 5'9", right? So when you're a little guy, use it to your advantage. Watch how small he gets when he gets to the line of scrimmage. Get small, get tiny, get tiny. Oh, like a little mouse. Found a little mouse hole and shot through it and picked up good yardage on the play.
I really like the way that he's been able to kind of squeak through the holes, but also the way that he's matured this season. Morgan, again, one-on-one coverage going forward again in the end zone, targeting Kobe Paul this time. It's incomplete, penalty-free.
That's that matchup. They continue to go after the field corner. Zay Franks, top of your screen, picking on him, and he has to do a better job of not allowing wide receivers to get behind him. Living very dangerously. Number one job as a defensive back, nobody gets behind you. They found ways to get behind Zay Franks tonight.
And getting through is Ahmad Miller, still on his feet, stiff arming a defender. And a face mask is likely going to be called there, but that strong running from Ahmad Miller. Why do you like it so much, Jay?
Because it's Jackson State. And you know who the Jackson State? Walter Payton. And you know what Walter Payton's move was?
Face mask.
Stiff arm.
Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Look at this. You know, Sweetness is looking down like that's how you finish a run. We know one of the Miller boys are tough. Oh, get off me. He's got that stiff arm working. Picked up an extra 4 or 5 yards and a penalty flag.
When we talk about the Hall of Famers for Southern, let's highlight them for Jackson State. They've got 4 in total. You mentioned one, and Walter Payton, Lynn Barney, Robert Brazil, Jackie Slater, who used to lead the way for Sweetness.
And probably should have one more. You know, I'm a big proponent. I think Jimmy Smith should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Movement up front early. And flags come out quickly.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, the big thing in sports is like the analytics and all that stuff. And I'm sure every analytic said you go for it on 4th and 1. But you have to know if you don't get it, what happens if you don't get it? And they get the ball with a short field and they come down and score. Now, you'll be scratching your head if you don't stop Jackson State right now.
Well, they're moving downhill. Ahmad Miller trying to get there as well, but good tackle made there. Again, there's Grayson LaFleur. Inside the red zone. Well, you like their decision to go for it early on, but there you question going for it on 4th down, Jay?
It's just one that, you know, if you don't get it, it's the risk reward. You know, it's a 4-point ball game. Yes, you want it. You want the first down, keep the drive going, but coming out of that locker room, I think that kind of took any momentum they had out of the locker room that they were trying to get going.
Here on 2nd down. Once more, they call number 27 in white, Ahmad Miller, with an outstanding run. And Miller right at the sticks, and you guessed it, more yellow comes flying out. Miller's helmet off right now, and fantastic run there by Ahmad Miller.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 3. Half the distance to the goal, first down. Number 27 for Jackson State can remain in the game because his helmet came off as a result of a foul.
That was a really good run by Ahmad Miller. You mentioned earlier what a noisy football player his brother was from that linebacker position, now playing professionally in Canada. But Lil Miller's starting to make a name for himself. And if you know their dad, we got to know their dad. He's a tough guy. He don't play, so you know he's going to be about as tough as they come. Look.
And Davenport walks in for his 2nd touchdown of the game. Well, we knew that Jackson State loved to run the football. 9 of their 10 touchdowns were on the ground coming into tonight. The 2nd rushing TD of this one And extending their lead is Jackson State. Love for Davenport on the sideline. Gerardo Beza on to attempt the extra point. 9 plays, 75 yards. And Jackson State
Timeout.
rolling right now out of the locker room, taking advantage of that turnover on downs. They come out with 7. Is representing JSU, the school out of the capital city of Mississippi, founded in 1877. Dr. Denise Jones Gregory, currently the president of this fantastic university. As we mentioned, 4 football Hall of Famers, number of notable individuals who have graduated from there and done great things. Ron Page, former Secretary of Education, and Sandra Wilson, Lindsey Hunter.
I'm going to put him on the spot, too. JSU, I keep hearing about this homecoming. You know, I do my homecoming rankings, and they always give me a hard time. You're biased toward. Well, we'll be at Jackson State homecoming this year.
Yes, we will.
So let's see what you got, JSU.
October 11th.
October 11th.
Against who? Alabama State. Ooh. So you think about that matchup, because it's rather intriguing given the fact that Alabama State could vie for that East Division title. That could be the deciding factor in the division.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, but that's football side, a lot of football left to be played, but I'm coming to see that homecoming. Now, they keep telling me about this homecoming in Jackson, Mississippi. You know, I know a little something about homecomings because I went to the school that has the world's best homecoming.
You know what? You can't help it. It's a sickness, folks. All right,
if you're going to mention homecoming, Howard and homecoming go together.
No, it's okay if you don't say it. But I will say this: the I Love is prideful. They have a great fan base. The Red Club. They put on. They show you a great time.
And they play in the largest FCS stadium in the country with over 50,000 fans at game capacity. So quite a sight.
What a catch hauled in by Dupree Fuller. And Dupree Fuller Jr. will tie it in with the concentration to stay with it. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4 after that gain from Fuller.
And now simplify the game plan. If you're Strother, first read, if first read's not there, take off and run. Pick up 3 yards if you can. So you've got 3 wide receivers to your left, right? So you got to know you can't, if you run to the right, there's nobody to throw the ball to. So drop back, first read if it's there, okay, if not, take off. They took it out of his hands. Wow.
Instead, they go with Trey Holly, and Trey Holly is going to be stopped a yard short of the first down marker.
Wow, they took it out of the quarterback's hands by handing the ball off. More confidence, and kind of can see why when Trey Holly is such a special talent, but that's saying something.
And so 2 of 8 on 3rd down conversions tonight for Southern.
If you have a fake punt, now you need it. If it's in your repertoire and you practice it and you get any type of looks that says you can execute it, this would be the time.
Right here?
Yeah, right here. You're down by 10. You're about to give them the ball back to the number 1 team in the country on the here.
Instead, Kenny Pham boots it away, and that should be catch kick interference. He was right in his way. Instead, no penalty marker comes out. Travis Terrell Jr. does hold on to it. We'll step aside here. Jackson State has the ball. We come back. Jackson State taking advantage of all kinds of opportunities there as Gerardo Beza was hit as he booted it away. So it gave Jackson State the ball back. They were able to score and take the lead going into the locker room. And then the big stuff here on 4th down. And Jackson State once again capitalizing. 14 unanswered points by the Jaguars, or by the Tigers rather. And now Jacobian Morgan and the Jackson State offense back on the field.
There should be a phrase they used to say, and I don't know when it's said, but I thought it was back in Roman Empire time. They say, if you try and take out the king, you better kill him. Because if you don't, what's he going to do? He's going to come kill you. So if you're Southern University, you're trying to beat the #1 team in HBCU football, you got to put them away. You got to take advantage of it. You can't have these penalties because once they figure it all out, they're going to put it on you. And that's what Southern University is in danger of right now.
The sophomore Travis Terrell on the run picks up the first down. Also, to your point, Jay, it has taken this crowd out of it.
Yes.
You know, you've got a near capacity crowd here at A.W. Mumford Stadium, conference opener, big rival, and Southern was holding court, but they've been challenged in that secondary with big plays like this as Jamil Gardner Jr. calls in the catch. And Gardner goes to the sideline, a little gimpy, but he sets up his team in the red zone after another big play through the air, 42 yards.
Yeah, bottom part of your screen, just going to run a post and run by everybody. Once again, not deep safety help. Great job of locating the football by Gardner. Throw a little bit underthrown, but he went to go get it.
Right now, that secondary of Southern being shredded with big plays from the Tigers, getting to the edge, and there's Travis Terrell, and great stick there by number 23. That's Landon Carter. Another look here.
We know that Terrell's good in the open space, but not a big guy on the wrong side of that tough lick right there. And how about this for coaching? You know, when we talk to coaches, the scouting report, and when we talk to Jackson State, their wide receiver, who's your guy? Say, oh, we like them all. We like them all, but they said Jamil Gardner's the fastest guy we got. He runs the best route, so he's that guy. You see the difference? They get the ball to their playmakers, and we've called his name time and time again. And I think that's the mark of a good offensive philosophy. Give credit to the co-offensive coordinators, Rip Kirk and Manny Ramirez, getting the ball to their playmakers.
A timeout on the field.
I mean, I've seen it all, Tiff. We've seen a drone delay. We've seen a ban warning. I'm going to call this like a mystery timeout. Something's going on down there.
That's a great way to put it, but we can just listen in to the drum line. Jay, I gotta tell you, as a former high school snare drummer, I just always appreciate percussion. So I just had to let that moment ride there for a second. But when you think
It was an official's timeout to get the chains set correctly. Second down.
So there it was, the official's timeout. Chain set correctly. Everything's all good. But we're watching two of the blue bloods of HBCU football. Fantastic football traditions, fan bases, bands, some elite players throughout the years. And Jackson State has just kind of grabbed the SWAC ever since Coach Prime took over and just injected a different type of life. T.C. Taylor has put a mark of his own on it as well. And Jackson State has been a team to beat. Florida A&M was the 2023 HBCU National Champions, won that Cricket Celebration Bowl. And Jackson State said, no, we're taking over. It's now our time. And with T.C. Taylor, you know, how good can this team be?
I mean, he loves the program. And you know what's unique? They love him. And I think because he played there, and they remember when he played there, and he played two positions there, and he knows the program in and out. He was an offensive coordinator.
And a former quarterback turned wide receiver, and there's Jacobian Morgan to Nate Rimbert, and a flag coming out in the midst of that play.
And this is a selfish, irresponsible play. They're going to take the touchdown off the board because it was a blind side block. And the wide receiver came and wiped out a tackler that had nothing to do with the play. He was going to get outside. But because he chooses to go for this knockout block, instead of just getting in the way, they're going to penalize him. It's going to cost his team 6 points.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense. Number 17.
How is it after the play? Maybe that's what I saw, but
that 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. Stop a point.
So, I mean, look at the bottom of your screen, though. You'll see the great job of getting outside, keeping the balance. Now, once he makes this move to the outside, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. How is that a touchdown?
Perhaps
yeah, they got to talk
they're
about
going to talk about this further.
That was not after the play.
No.
That was during the play. That should not be a touchdown, and you should move them back 15 yards.
So they are having further discussions. We'll see if
Get it
the
right.
replay booth will
you can,
chime in, but they can have this discussion on the field. And
yeah, I don't care how long it takes. Just get it right.
After review, the foul occurred prior to the player entering the end zone. There will be a 15-yard penalty assessed from the spot of the foul. Replay the down.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct, Jay. And so they did get it right.
Yes.
Indeed.
And if you're Southern University, you got a second chance. Make it stick. But you'll see right here, I mean, he's going in. Why hit that guy? That's a selfish play. That is a selfish play by Eric Simmons from the wide receiver position. Trying to lay somebody out for no reason. That should motivate you. Then you take your, if you're a defensive guy, defensive coach, you grab your defensive unit and say, you see that they're taking cheap shots on our guys. Let's go. What are you going to do about it? You need a spark. Don't settle for letting them kick a field goal. Like, go strip the ball.
And if you're looking on that defense, it's Kelby Givens, it's Vincent Page, it's Elijah West, guys who have helped to steady at each level for Southern. Let's see what they do here. Now Jackson State first and goal from their 19. Jacobian Morgan looking. Let's go of it. Had an open man, but couldn't hit Kobe Ball, who was on the run. And Vincent Page Jr. says, okay, well, we're going to apply this pressure. We're going to try to get in the face of the quarterback and throw him off his mark. They did there.
Yep. Go old school. If I'm defensive coordinator Henry Miller, we just gave up a touchdown. They gave a second life. I'm sending everything. I'm going to make this old school SWAT game. I'm going to blitz 8 guys. If you've got 7 blocking, I'm going to send you got to guard one-on-one, play man-to-man coverage, bring that free safety out the middle field, and you got to hit their quarterback. So you need those type of plays.
Boom. Right there, as you mentioned, on cue, and that's number 58, Jerome Wallace.
Fantastic individual effort. Get motivated behind it. You'll see him just chase down the ball carrier and the quarterback. It's a great change of direction. Now you want to blitz him hard because you want to take him out of field goal range. So high risk, high reward, but I would apply the pressure. They're coming out too high like they're going to play soft zone. I don't agree with that. But maybe Kelby Givens can come up with a big play.
Number 1 trying to get around, instead successfully getting it out to Jinsey Riley. Riley, the first time he's been targeted tonight, or rare time that he's been targeted tonight. 11-yard pickup, 4th goal. 4th and goal, and here comes Gerardo Beza. Beza Made his last one from 33 yards. Missed his first from 36 yards out. A 30-yard attempt is up, and it is off the mark. So a couple of missed field goals tonight.
Timeout.
And Terrence Graves' team still right in it. Let's see if they can take advantage when they get the ball back when we return. Well, coming into the season, the SWAC West was the predicted order of finish right in front of you. Southern won, coming off as the division champs a season ago. Alcorn, Prairie View, Texas A&M, Grambling, and UAPB. But oh, wait a minute. Where are we now, Jay? Very different story as we enter SWAC play.
Yeah, I was surprised. Alcorn has not won a significant SWAC game, West game, and since they've been in the West. But Prairie View, watch out for them. I actually got a chance to see them in person. And they've got some guys go get it. New head coach. They're starting to believe there. Good facilities. Keep an eye on Prairie View. And I always say, yes, that Prairie View.
Tremaine Jackson now leading the way. He said Control-Alt-Delete. We're starting over as this one is thrown well out of bounds. It's 2nd and 10. But Tremaine Jackson, one of the new head coaches in HBCU football.
And one of the new coaches in the SWAC. And give a shout out to the team you were talking about that you're surprised.
Mississippi Valley State. Okay, Terrell Buckley has the Delta Devils fighting, even though they came up short against Texas Southern earlier today. I mean, they have been giving teams fits.
Absolutely. Should have known. I mean, last year their signature win, they knocked off Florida A&M. In Tallahassee.
To Terrell Buckley taking over
Buckley,
as head coach, but Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson out of the MEAC. We'll get a chance to see them the day before Halloween. Sam Shade at Alabama A&M, Reggie Barlow, Tennessee State, and Sean Gibbs at North Carolina A&T.
How about this? Here's what I'm going to do. Best of the bunch so far, been that guy, Deshaun Jackson. Yeah. Deshaun's got Delaware State playing ball. I mean, they're winning non-conference games and conference games. D-Jack, I see you, Coach Jack. I call him Coach Nipsey. But he's got them playing.
LA Cali bred, plenty of time for Strother. Throws it underneath, the check down to Trey Holly. And Holly, who lowers the boom there, picks up the first down and moves the chains.
Recognition, right? Curl flat, right? Watch this curl route. Easiest throw in football. You got to read it. I've been telling them, give us a curl flat. Give them a curl flat to make it easy. You see it? The curl's there. That's a rhythm throw. That's a rhythm throw. But he's not looking in the right direction.
In traffic, tough throw made to Kobe Brown. Not a lot there. So how do you impact that? How do you change that? Strother, who came out of Memphis, Tennessee, went to Christian Brothers, then JUCO before landing here. How do you teach those eyes?
Well, you can't teach it during the game. You have to pull him out and then have him watch the other quarterback do it. I mean, this is his first start. So he's been watching. When he came in off the bench, he did a good job in the reserve role.
And he decides to take off as Ashton Taylor was giving chase, and that's likely going to bring us to the end of the third quarter.
You know what I like here? One of the traditions in HBCU football, at the end of the third quarter, the lights go out here and the crowd get crunk.
Timeout.
I'm looking forward to this commercial break, Tiff. There they go.
Lights out. That's what Jackson State's trying to deliver in this fourth quarter as they lead 24-13 after 13. Well, you said it was special going into the fourth quarter here in Baton Rouge, and A.W. Mumford Stadium lit up with fireworks during the break. A great scene and atmosphere for certain. Before we start the fourth quarter, catch you up on some HBCU headlines. And Howard, I know. Hey, look, they were your top 5 team in the HBCU power rankings came up just short as they blew that 12-point lead at Richmond. How about Bethune-Cookman coming up with a win over Alabama A&M?
Biggest win under Raymond Woody era. biggest one he's had.
And then Alabama State steamrolling Florida A&M in Bragg, 42-14. And we saw Alabama State here a couple of weeks ago. Andrew Body, impressive. Marcus Harris, impressive. We already know about the Hornet defense, which is very stingy.
Pam, you got beat in Bragg, 42-14. And somehow or another, I don't know how, I'm talking to our spotter Chris here, somehow or another they're going to blame me for that loss. Pam, they always find a reason to blame it on Jay.
About you, Jay.
I didn't go out there and lose 42-14 to them. I just have to report the news that they lost 42-14.
I just reported the news. Nobody's thinking about you, Jay. It's not about you. 4th and 1 from their own 42-yard line, and Southern electing to punt it away as opposed to go for it, remembering what happened last time as a timeout taken by Jackson State.
Their
That
first
Tiger
of the
defense
half.
stuffed
30-second timeout.
Southern on a 4th and 1 turnover on bounds.
They call the timeout. Think about it, and you know what? Go send your offense out there. Period. We're not going to win this game if we can't get a yard. We're down by 11. If we can't, in the 4th quarter, if we can't get this yard, we're not going to win this game. You put it on plain and simple.
Well, Terrence Graves told us out of the locker room, and we keep going back to this point, but it's worth noting that our team has to have the mindset, the attitude, and the execution. Looking back in that 3rd quarter, 49 yards on the ground, 25 through the air, and no points. And so in order to get some momentum going, do they do a fake punt here?
Not after timeout. Yeah. That was the reason why Jackson State called the timeout. So they didn't even do a punt block. They said just play. They sent their starting defense out there. So that was punt safe, no return. I mean, you're down by 11 points, 4th quarter. I'm going to get that yard. There you go. That's your run line.
Yeah, that's you see how I was just quiet. See how I was letting it go. Jacobian Morgan, SWAC preseason offensive player of the year, started his career out at Syracuse, and then made his way back to his home state. 2nd year as the starter at Jackson State. He did split some time, though, with Cam McCoy on the other sideline now at Southern. But together they put a special season in the books, winning an HBCU National Championship in the Cricket Celebration Bowl last December. And Morgan, who has gotten it done through the air so far tonight, more than 200 yards in the aerial attack, and he goes to it again. Tight coverage there from Landon Carter, and Kobe Paul couldn't come up with it.
That's that pass that we know Morgan likes to throw. Very accurate with the slant route. Good job of defending the play. But don't relax too much, because if they see that same look, if they recognize it, Morgan not afraid to go right back to it.
Morgan finds the man, Janalen Dupree, who caught the touchdown going into halftime, comes up with it. And another first down for this Jackson State offense.
It was so obvious that Southern was playing zone coverage with the 2 high safeties, and they didn't even fake it if they were playing cover 2 man or cover 2 zone. Straight zone, did not reroute the receiver, untouched, middle of the defense.
Here's Morgan, who keeps it himself and diving ahead.
Quarterback Morgan calling his own number here. Watch the ride. He rides and says, not a lot of room out there. Kelby Givens came down too hard on the pinch. 9 yards on first down.
Rod Miller up ahead. about Miller, who takes over for a guy by the name of Irv Mulligan last season, who was the Offensive Player of the Year in the conference, led the SWAC in rushing as well, and Ahmad Miller has done a very nice job in the backfield thus far this season. And here tonight, Jameel Gardner, who's wrestling for yardage with Elijah West, tackling him out of bounds. No gain on the play.
And I'm going to highlight that play, right? Why do I highlight it? Because when you've got a guy like Gardner, who's your best player, and you've heard me say over and over, it's all about touches. Get him his touches. That had to be a perfect play from Elijah West to negate that play. But it was a touch. So you say, oh, no, I'll take my chances just giving him his touches. That's what you do with your featured players.
Ahmad Miller, who has been a feature of this offense, is just bulldozing people over, and a strong run on second down, and a fresh set working right here after it.
Yeah, you know, when you talk to the coaches about Miller, like, describe him. They couldn't come up with the words to describe him. They were like, he's an every down back. He can play first, second, third down, catch the ball good out the backfield. Not going to wow you with his speed, not going to wow you with his power, but he just does everything. And I like the vision. See, what they didn't tell us was he's got great vision.
Vision indeed, and a hard hitter as he's brought down out of bounds. But they talked about, hey, when we were looking at him out of high school, we recruited him as a running back, but they thought they may make a transition.
Offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Villanueva, who is the guilty party, once again, it's been a tough night for him with a trio of penalties. But you think about Miller, who was going to maybe line up as a linebacker like his brother, or potentially a safety, but he said, no, keep me a running back. I'm sure they're glad they did. Davenport gets the tote. Another hard-nosed runner there for the Tigers.
I think when you look at Jackson State, you know, they're good in so many places. Their depth. You know, every time when there's recruiting classes come out, T.C. Taylor and the staff don't get credit for the job they do recruiting. I mean, they out-recruit everybody. Top-ranked recruiting classes, and then they followed up on the field. Talented ball club.
Good move there from Jameel Gardner Jr. And I would agree. But he talks often about just planting your own garden, right? Making sure that you get some of the homegrown guys and plucking that top talent from high school and then finding the right pieces to fit in that transfer in. In that mix that they have found, he has been successful now in his third season. Now electing to just take their time, play clock down to 2. They're able to get the snap off in time. And that scenario, Davenport, who keeps the balance, stays on his feet, across the 15 and tripped up just inside.
Third down. 3rd and 8. And the offensive line gets the job done. Great job by number 62, Almetrius Smith, the center, getting up to the second level, sealing it, and the rest was all Davenport. Would not be denied. He knew what was at stake.
Well, we were just talking about how so many of the key pieces return, and he was able to keep so many of those players from last year's championship team. And Travis Terrell Jr. is one of them, and he's going to be stopped just short of the goal line.
Man, this game of football, right? So they're going to be on what yard line? What yard line are they on right now?
Goal.
The 1. When this whole thing started, I said Southern University needed what? 1 yard. Get that 1 yard, keep the ball, keep this offense off the field. And now, JSU's like a yard away from basically putting this thing away.
Until
False start, offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
But you know what we've seen from Jackson State? They can overcome their penalties. Southern's not had the ability to overcome their penalties.
So now, 1st and goal from the 5. Terrell remains in the backfield. High snap handled and into the end zone, and Travis Terrell with a touchdown. First TD of the season for Terrell, and another one on the ground for Jackson State.
The athleticism, because the snap was extremely high. That could have been disastrous. Look at that snap, high and off target. But I think that was a good job of staying with the play. And that special young man right there gets to the end zone for the first time of the year.
12 plays, 83 yards, and another scoring drive for Jackson State.
False start, offense. Number 81. Player wasn't set when the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty, South point.
They'll back him up 5 yards for the PAT. Travis Terrell, the 5'9" sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia, Creekside's own.
You know, when I'm seeing games like this, I'm thinking like, you know, they got an athletic director over there at Jackson State, Ashley
Robinson.
You can't tell him nothing as is, right? And they come here on the road. Can you imagine what Ashley's going to be like when we go to Jackson in a couple weeks? You going to be able to tell him anything?
Probably not.
Hey, they deserve it, though. He made the hire. He brought T.C. Taylor along, and he's reaping it. You're watching the #1 team in HBCU football getting it done.
State, we're looking at a rivalry right here between Jackson State and Southern, and the Tigers coming out of the locker room just carried that momentum that they had after that score to close out the second quarter. Put up 24 unanswered points, Jay.
And it goes back to what we said. Southern University all year has not played 4 quarters of football. They played good in halves, but they've not been able to put together a first half and a second half. However, I do think that Southern will still contend mightily for that championship in the West for the SWAC. It's wide open, as we showed earlier.
Hicks on the return, across the 15, pops off that tackle, across the 20, and then driven out of bounds near the 25-yard line. So we'll come back with more football here as the closing minutes from A.W. Mumford Stadium come back with us. Well, let's catch you up on some of the games across the conference today. A huge one in Bragg Memorial Stadium in Tallahassee. Marcus Harris II had a couple of touchdowns, and just the success that the Hornets had on the ground. This is J.R. Gardner. A wiping of the Rattlers, 42-14. A big win to start off 1-0 in conference play for Alabama State. Alabama A&M and Bethune-Cookman. And how about the double handoff? And that's Javon Ross, who's off to the races. And the Wildcats will go in neck and neck with Alabama A&M, handling to Frank Pierre. And after this score, it's a 3-point ball game. We heard about Javonte Abner, met him at SWAC Media Day. Sam Shady was going to be a special guy, and they're hauling in the touchdown. And then Ali Scott Jr. puts this one away for Bethune-Cookman as they outlast Alabama A&M 41-34.
Oh, look at the fighting Terrell Buckley's down in Mississippi Valley. They came up 3 points short, and we talked about it earlier. Prairie View A&M, they're gonna be a problem for some people in the West.
Dumped down and into the hands of Jason Gabriel Jr. And Gabriel Jr. knocked out near the 46-yard line or so. 1st and 10 after that 20-yard pickup. When you think about how successful Jackson State has been in their last 3 games against Southern, they've put up 105 points, including tonight's game. They met a couple of times last year, obviously, in the regular season and the SWAC championship game. And right there upon contact of meeting and a flag coming out as Ja'Cory Hargan
is going
to whistle him for
targeting,
targeting.
Probably targeting, and then they'll see if they can review it and pick it up. But they're going to err on the side of making the initial call.
The intercommunication from the officials and Wyan Myers III. We'll hear from him in just a moment.
Personal foul, targeting, defense. The previous play is under further review.
So Anthony Johnson, the replay official up top, will look this over and discuss it further. We'll get another look at it here in just a moment.
We had a targeting call earlier, which was picked up. I thought rightfully so. There was no indicator. Let's see, is there an indicator?
Jay, I don't know that I see anything that identifies as such. I mean, again, they're going to look defenseless player, head or neck area unlocked. Certainly the helmets collided, right?
And I will say, you know, the previous one, when the receiver had the ball, when you have the ball, you're not defenseless. This one, the receiver did not have the ball. So he was clearly, that one thing is there, he's a defenseless player. Was there any type of launch? Does the head go down? They're going to look, see if that head goes down. That's targeting.
Yep.
Crown of the helmet. I think with the crown of the helmet going down, if you can't see it, helmet to helmet.
It kind of looked like it got in the ear hole of the receiver on the side of there.
Taking a good long look at it. And either way, but I think the indicators there.
After review, there was no targeting on the play. Second down.
I'm 0 for 2 today. 0 for 2. Rest in peace, Mr. Eddie Kelly. But
it was a fantastic head of the SWAC officials. Lost him earlier this summer.
But I do have to question, I mean, if it's all about player safety, you know, you want to get people keeping their helmets, you know, putting the neck down and the head down. I mean, I thought we saw 2 pretty clear cases of helmet first instigated contact.
And a penalty marker, and just benefiting from that one as Malachi Jackson was the target.
Holding. Defense. Number 11. 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
So that moves them into Tiger territory. Jay, are you surprised that co-offensive coordinator Fred McNair did not make a change at quarterback tonight?
I am. I mean, because I don't think Strother played good enough to keep him in the ballgame. I mean, at halftime, he was 4 of 10, so that's 40%, had 60 yards. If you're supposed to be the spark and you can run the offense better than the other guys, those numbers didn't justify it. And, you know, quarterback's been tough for them. I mean, Terrence Graves, we hear all the rumblings around here, and he does a really good job of blocking out the noise. But for Southern, they've gone, what happened? Jalen Woods was supposed to be their guy. He didn't play the first week, and then he's out. You got McCoy, Cameron McCoy came in in spot duty looked good at times. But now they've made the move, and now Strother. Winning teams aren't going to go through 3 quarterbacks this early in the season.
You're giving chase to Strother, who stays up on his feet and picks up the first down as Rogers trips him up.
And, you know, I was talking to, the Jaguar Nation, that's what they call their fan base here, about him. I said, let's look at this. I mean, they're acting like the sky's falling. Acceptable loss to Alabama State. Acceptable loss to North Carolina Central, who's a great football team. You know, and if you lose to Jackson State, acceptable loss. These are some of the best teams in HBC football. And they said, you're right, but not at Southern. I mean, everybody I tried to tell that to, they all said, not at Southern.
Ruled incomplete.
Like, wow,
the ball
so
hit the ground.
they have high expectations, and you saw, I've always said this about Southern. If you can pack a stadium like they packed it tonight, they have every right to have those high expectations.
I mean, this place was nearly full when you looked out in the parking lot, the RV lots. You know, Jaguar Nation certainly showed up, and Jackson State also travels well, so they help to fill out this stadium. But, Jay, there's also this expectation of kind of returning back to the Pete Richardson days, right? The Pete Richardson field. You talked about one of the legendary coaches for Southern, right? And so he was winning championship after championship in the SWAC. Terrence Graves has come from his coaching tree. You know, Mark Frederick on the staff come from his coaching tree. And he said he was reminding Terrence Graves earlier that, look, you've got a talented team. You've got the talent there.
78.
They've just got to put it together.
Third down.
They haven't been able to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you bring up Pete Richardson, and I remind these folks around here all the time because sometimes they get amnesia. They chased Pete up out of here. they chased him about. Coach Richardson probably had some more coaching in him. But a couple down years, they want to make that change. And, you know, I don't think they've quite been as dominating since. They've had some good teams out there. But you can make the argument, too. Ooh, I'm just thinking out loud right now of coaches that have been involved at Southern that have gone on to have good success.
Wrapped up, brought down the sack, and a great play by Ashton Taylor. Hold that thought there for a second, because Taylor, who has been an impact player on the defense, a guy who has just been everywhere, walked on from Tennessee Tech, and has just been an excellent talent.
But that's what you need, guys that are come in and make an impact as a transfer. But guys I know that have coached here before, right? You may not have known this, but made their mark here. And they're real hot right now. Chinnis Berry, coached here for a long time. Trey Oliver, coached here for a long time. Guys that have coached here before.
Timeout.
Right now, T.C. Taylor says, well, I'm going to keep putting it on you. Jackson State going away.
Ahmad Miller, who has been all over the football field tonight, 13 carries, 99 yards, as he has been so tough to stop.
99 problems, but Ahmad Miller ain't one. He has been doing the job as relied upon, averaging 7.6 yards per carry, doing it in a plethora of ways, shooting the gaps, great vision. That's what really impressed me, his vision and his balance. Solid night for the sophomore running back.
.537 remaining in this one. They give the ball to Miller. Miller, who is stopped after that 3-yard gain, brought down by Jamarlo Campbell.
So now he's over 100 yards on the day. And this Jackson State team, we said it would come down to could Southern stop the run. Jackson State came in averaging 254 yards per game on the ground. So I think Southern did a good job of slowing down the running game, but their secondary, I think they didn't realize how good Jameel Gardner and crew could be in the passing game.
Travis Terrell Jr. just trips. And you think, you know, a lot of the starters from last week or their last game, you know, didn't start. They got a chance to rest. Jacoby and Morgan among them. Shamar Savage in that number. Marvin Landy currently out. Jonas Fortillion. So there are still a number of pieces that either have come back or are waiting to come back and help strengthen this Tiger football team. Good throw made there as Nate Rimbert is able to bring it in, and Nate Rimbert is going across the 30, 20, 10, touchdown. And there, the night-night symbol there for the Tigers as 82 yards. The catch and the yards after the catch, more importantly, land Rimbert in the end zone.
Wheel route on the sideline, and just, this is a high risk. So as the safety comes over, you got to think, do I want to go for the hit or go for the interception? He was in between, and then the rest was all Rimbert. Great job of downfield blocking by Kobe Paul to help spring him for that extra 20 yards for the touchdown. And that play right there, that's Southern University this season. I mean, DB has a beat on the ball. You think he can make that play and get the interception or the hit, makes neither, and they score, and they overcome. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking he's coming over for the interception with that angle. Once he doesn't do that, it's history.
Rimbert out of Eustis, Florida, in that Central Florida area, started his career at Edward Waters, then the Mississippi Valley State. Jacoby and Morgan, certainly glad to have him a part of the team. Coaches told us, hey, look, Nate Rimbert is a really nice addition to our squad. He came in with the most receptions so far this season, with 10 entering tonight's game. And when you look at this receiver core, Rimbert, Janalen Dupree, who caught a touchdown, Jonas Fortillion, who they expect back, Jameel Gardner Jr., who has been impactful in the passing game as well. Jackson State, who everyone expected to be running the football and finding pay dirt. Well, Nate Rimbert, Janalen Dupree have come up with a couple of passing or pass catching touchdowns.
That was one of my favorite songs. And
well, you got to soak up the moment just then. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You were bopping while I was talking, so it still works.
That, you know, we talk about HBCU things we like. For me, when the Silent Boom of the South enters the stadium, get ready. Dun, 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 dun. When FAMU band takes the field and they do the quick snake action, love that. You got anything you like? Anything to stand out? I'm putting you on the spot. We see a lot.
That's a great question.
Come on.
I don't know. I don't know that I have anything. I just, not coming into the stadium, I just, like, for instance, today, I enjoyed the zero quarter, right?
Okay.
The pregame, them going back and forth, right? That's what I want to hear. Let me outplay you. Let me play the same song and Emily challenge you. I'm going to play it better.
There's something else I like. Florida Classic. When I lead a Florida Classic, what's in my head? What's in your head?
Wildcats.
Oh,
let's
you're
go.
going to admit it. Let's go, Wildcat. That is the best hype song out there. Originality and everything. That stands out.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
Oh my gosh, she gave Bethune-Cookman
credit where credit is due.
No, you don't.
You are a hater, so you choose not to. But I confess up and say what is.
I had to drag that out of you.
But I did it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I think, Southern University, a tradition I miss, when they used to show the score at halftime, the band would make the numbers of the score. So when it was 17-13, they would spell out 17-13.
Giving chase from behind, Quincy Ivory. One of the things that this defense for Jackson State, when we were talking with Torenzo Quinn, they were really proud of, the fact that their defense hasn't allowed more than 15 points against Southern since 2021.
That is dominating your opponent / rival. This is a good bunch, solid football team. And you talk to them, they're going to say they didn't play their best football. But you come in here on the road and put up these type of numbers, and it's not your A game, that's the mark of a good team. Potentially a great team.
And folks, just a reminder, the fact that Southern led 13-7 at one point in this game, and then Jackson State just hauls off 31 straight points in front of a very anxious and eager Southern crowd wanting to see Jaguars deliver a win here in the SWAC opener. 27,487 in attendance tonight, as Strother just missing his man Hicks.
27,000.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about how it felt very much like a precursor to homecoming. I mean, this is one of the top rivalries for each of these schools.
Yes,
and,
it is.
And so you know that Jackson State's going to travel. You know Southern is going to show up.
And I'll often say this, and you say I'm just poking it, but guess who could care less?
Oh, gosh.
Grambling could care less about what Southern's doing to Jackson State right now. And guess who could care less about Jackson State right now? Alcorn. All of them say we're going to see at the end of the year. Those are fan bases. I like it. Those are rivals. That's what a rival's all about. Just like FAMU can be riding high and heavy, but Bethune-Cookman could care less. Howard could be doing very well. Hampton Institute could care less, right? That's what rivalries are all about.
You're so petty, Jay. 2:35 remaining in this one.
Personal foul, face mask. Receiving team, number 21. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Jackson State.
It'd be interesting to see if T.C. Taylor decides to empty the bench, put some backups in there. You know, they got freshman quarterback Jared Lockhart, who they really liked.
Yeah, he was the one who started in that Week 3 game against Tuskegee.
He's keeping everybody out there. Surprised. I mean, these are going to be running plays, I would think. I don't think there's no need to pass the ball. Respect from both sidelines.
Handoff and the carry up ahead. And Nate Blunt, the fourth, with the strong run. And they're just going to let this tick down to the 2-minute timeout. And there we are, 38-13, 2-minute timeout. Come back with us for the finish. On the carry. And we expected to see a lot of handoffs. Ahmad Miller, Travis Terrell, Denario Davenport, all who have done their part. But it's been Jacobian Morgan who has gotten it done through the air here tonight.
You know, that's
21 of 31, 337 yards for Morgan.
I mean, that passing game, you know, me and T.C. Taylor, we used to joke about this over the years. Like, I was like, why is it Mississippi's the one state you can go to and there's always going to be a guy that's 6'1", 6'2", can run great routes and can have hands and can do it. And, I mean, Jackson State's going to have it. Alcorn's going to have it. T.C. said, that was me once upon a time too, Jay. I said, yeah, is it in the water? He said, everybody wanted to be Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is from Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, and it looks like they've got some more guys that are doing it.
Well, you think about TC, spent 2.5 years as a quarterback and then became a wide receiver, All-American at that position in his senior year, Connerly Trophy runner-up, Mississippi's top college football player behind Eli Manning. So, yeah, he knows a thing or two about succeeding as a player. And now he is doing so as a coach. Jacoby and Morgan, what an excellent job this season. Season high, 67% completion rate. And Jackson State, opening conference play with a bang, came roaring into A.W. Mumford Stadium. And let me tell you, folks, the Tigers out of Jackson, Mississippi, know how to win football games. Number 1 team in HBCU football, and they remain at the top of the mountain. They take down Southern 38-13 in this Boombox Classic.
Who would have thought the Battle of the Bands was closer than the football game? But these bands went at it.
And as the coaches say their congratulations, you see Ashley Robinson dapping it up with head coach T.C. Taylor. His decision to name him the head coach in December of 2022, officially taking over this program after playing for the I Love. He is leading his alma mater. They moved to 3-1 on the season and walk out of the boot with a dub. Joining us now, T.C. Taylor. And Coach, you said your team came out of that locker room just engaged, ready to go. What did you like about the performance and the way they closed out?
Just the way we responded. You know, that's what you see from a good football team. I love the way we responded. We would have scored every drive. I think we had another penalty. You know, penalties was another big thorn in our side tonight, but we'd have scored every drive in that second half right there if we didn't get that one called back. But they responded well. Defense stepped up. You know, I'm very proud of our football team. It was a championship level of performance by these guys.
Well, let's talk about your quarterback, Jacoby and Morgan. Seems like I've watched him emerge from a game manager to now being an offensive weapon.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, we challenged him these last couple weeks to step up. You know, Jay, you know, I talked to you right before the game about it. You know, he has to step up and carry this football team. You talk about the preseason offensive player of the year. We did a great job of recruiting and putting weapons around him, and he all he has to do is go out here and, you know, and distribute the football. He did a great job tonight, making some great throws. Jamil Gardner had a good game, but I can't say enough about Jacoby and Morgan tonight.
I like that. You know, you mentioned my next question. You talked about Jamil Gardner had some juice with him. That kid looks like he can be next.
Oh, definitely. You know, Jonas Fertillion, our top wide receiver, is down right now. But, you know, he's a transfer. We were blessed to get in here from Kent State. Had a solid year last year, and we was expecting a big year from him. And, you know, he's just stepped up. Not a very big kid, but he plays like 6'5" out there and just plays physical. So very proud of him as well. And Nate Rember, how about him, you know? Transfer from Mississippi Valley. He stepped up tonight. Janalen Dupree, all those guys play good football tonight.
What's next for you all? What do you tell your team? You guys come on the road, you get a nice conference victory. What do you go in there and tell your team, and how you keep them focused?
The penalties. Every week for us, I know we had to have about 13, 14 penalties tonight. And that was the difference in the game for us. And it's something I got to get cleaned up as a head coach, the discipline, as far as these penalties, you know, the holding and things like that. But, hey, we just got to keep marching on. You know, every week is going to be a championship-level game. We got to play good football each and every week. You go back to the drawing board on tomorrow and get ready for Alabama A&M next week.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy
I appreciate
this.
All right. Thank you.
Well, T.C. Taylor told us earlier in the week, no complacency. They did not want to be complacent coming into this season, and, well, certainly they are not. The defending HBCU national champions look like a team primed to make another run. They take a big win here in Baton Rouge against their rival, Southern University. For Jay Walker and the rest of our great crew, Karen Johns, Chris Taylor, Tiffany Green, I'm saying, we out from the booth.